The old world calls. Torn apart by the greedy. Weakened and exposed. Forever on the defense. But no longer.
Welcome to the stream, my friends. I hope you're all doing well. I know a lot of you guys are probably staying home this weekend, so I figured we would do a King of the Hill stream to pass the time. So our first match of the day are going to be two people who've done very, very well in our King of the Hills. Of course, Tank has won a King of the Hill himself, and A-Move Hacker, I'm pretty sure, has done very well in pretty much every one he's played in. So we have Tank facing off against A-Move Hacker here in our first game. It is going to be Tank on his beloved vampire accounts facing off against A-Move Hacker, who shall be on the forces of the Wood Elves. It certainly should be fun. We saw the Wood Elves do very well in yesterday's Eternal Challenger League against the Vampire Counts, so perhaps some notes have been taken. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be good. Thank you guys so much for joining, by the way. Early in the stream, you haven't missed any games for any of you guys who are just joining right now. So let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up. Everything looks good on my end. It's time. Yes, it is. You know what I'd really like to do? It'd be really fun to be like the announcer guy for like the UFC, you know, who just gets to yell it's time. A job like that would be really fun. All right, guys, we're on Sword of Torgald. First map, Vampire Counts. Yesterday, we saw the Wood Elves do very well with a build that was, I believe it was 4 or 5 Wildwood Rangers, a Treeman Durthu, and then I think there was just a couple like miscellaneous Eternal Guard mixed in the build. It was a really cool build. Oh, and he had 2 Sisters of Thorn as well. Basically, he just used them inside the Death Star as a missile piece against like the Mortis Engines, the Vargulfs, plus he also gets 2 free Shield of Thorns and 2 free Curses. It's actually quite powerful. I really like that build that we saw from Imperator yesterday. So now, guys, we're on the first map. We'll see who is going to be the first King of the Hill. We have some serious competition today. A lot of top-tier players, a lot of fun faces that you guys have seen in the community. So if you guys are ready for that, fun business here. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do a stream tomorrow as well. Not sure. King of the Hill, something else. Maybe like a weird off tournament tomorrow. I think could be really fun. Like maybe a 2v2 tournament or an FFA tournament, which of course we get the replays and then we cast the replays after the fact. I'm thinking of doing something fun like that tomorrow. So, because, basically most people are just staying home and a lot of stuff's like kind of closing down events and public places. So might as well just hang out with the lads and ladettes here at home. Optimus Pine says, Turin, I absolutely love how often you do these King of the Hill events. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, man. So basically how we're doing it is the first game is the only one that's a little bit different. And how's it going, Garland? Good to see you, man. The first game is a little bit different. Basically Tank and A-Move here basically just picked the factions that they wanted to play and did like a basic pick and ban. But from here on out, we're going to be trying out that new system, which I actually really like for King of the Hill. So how it works is the King will pick 3 factions, and then their opponent bans 1 and picks, and then the King picks from the remaining 2 factions. So that is going to be how we're doing it today. And we are using the banner rules. Those are the ones we've been experimenting with the ECL. And yeah, so we're doing it to it. We're doing it. Players are loading in. Of course, I think they're both European. They're both European-based, so it shouldn't be too long of a load in here as we do load in right as I say that. So Tank, of course, loves his vampires and probably going to get another vampire count clinic today. But A-Move Hacker doing really well. A-Move Hacker was able to defeat Zablaski in the first round of the ECL round of 8, so he's moving on to the grand finals next week. So 2 very top-tier players here facing off. Very excited to see this. So for the forces of the Wood Elves, in the front line, we do have Sisters of Thorn. Not front line, but here in the front. It looks like one of those to get the free spells. 2 groups of Way Watchers to focus down the big monsters. Dryads in the front line. In the back is going to be a bunch of Eternal Guard with some Azrai Spears mixed in. Now for his Lord, he does have a Glade Lord with Prey of Anathrema. Obviously pretty standard. And a Manticore Summoner and Flock of Doom. Obviously, nothing here is going to be super beneficial for heals. I mean, it's always nice to heal your infantry and things like that, but I think based on the fact he doesn't have too many powerful things like a dragon or single entities or like a tree man, getting the Manticore Summon is quite nice. It can goon out the casters and things like that. And also Flock of Doom is very good at clearing out masses of Vampire Count Chaff. So it's a pretty well-rounded army, to be honest. He does have the 2 Way Watchers here in the back, which, can pound down any targets they can hit. But again, I'm sure Tank has some assets that can chase them, so we'll see. Let's look at the army of the Vampire Counts. Front line is going to be Zombie. We got Zombies, Skeleton Warriors, and it looks like the Feasters in the Dusk, who are almost always Vanguard deployed behind people's armies, but we'll see how he uses those. He's got a couple Black Knights and Blood Knights as well. So the Blood Knights, of course, can really destroy Wild Riders pretty hard, and they're just a good shock cav unit. That's why they're really, really cool and also quite expensive. They're good dual purpose. They can work as a shock cav unit, or of course an anti-large specialist. He's got Black Knights as well, pretty good at clearing out like chaff units, like not even chaff, but if they can cycle charge Unbraced Eternal Guard, they do have that bonus for his infantry and can do some work. Up in the sky, he does have the Von Karstein Vampire Lord with Storm of the Night, which is a really, really good choice. And you'll see, if anything is going to be a big difference maker, that spell will be, because if he can lock down A-Moves, for example, his Glade Lord and really get a good jump with the Zombie Dragon, that can be game-changing. On top of that, 2 White Kings on the ground, some Fellbats over here, and it looks like some Black Knights on the other side, and Black Knights? No, Blood Knights and Black Knights. So he has a pretty much a... No, those are the same ones. So in total, he does have 2 Black Knights and a Blood Knight, and also a Mortis Engine. So the Mortis Engine is a big target for the Wood Elves. However, most Vampire Count players, from what I've seen lately at least, have brought at least 1 against Wood Elves. In case they go for like a tree box, it's really nice for destroying the elite infantry and just draining down those Wood Elf troops. Good luck, have fun. Start when ready. Thank you guys for joining today. I'm going to minimize here real quick, make sure there's no dreaded screen blocker. It's so funny. I'm so paranoid about it now. Hey, Matt Turman, thank you so much with Nurgle spreading chaos throughout the U.S. My genuine thanks for the distraction. Always enjoy your live streams. Matt, I got you covered, man. We're doing it. We're going in together. We'll face Nurgle or embrace him. We'll see. Who knows? But nonetheless, thank you so much for the donation, man. And there's no screen blocker that I can see. So if there is, you guys like the podcast anyways. It's a popular format. So we'll see how it goes. Felbats are screaming forward. Obviously, A Move Hacker does have some nice poke here with the Way Watchers. They can shoot a little bit and do some sniping. What I like about Tank's army, there's not too many snipeable targets outside of the Mortis Engine and the Von Karstein Lord. Granted, the Blood Knights are also another very choice target. Blood Knights are super expensive. I think they cost like 1,700 or something. 1,1700? I can't quite remember, but definitely a pretty choice target for both players here. Felbats just waiting on the wings, and in the back we do have the Feasters in the Dusk, which like I said are almost always put in the back here. And there are some Wild Riders back here though, and if these Sisters of Thorn, if they are able to catch those little ghouls, those little angry golems, they could certainly take a lot of damage. So he needs to be careful with those still. But usually you just wait till the battle's really late and kind of develops. You pull them in, and they can honestly do really well against like Azrai Spears and Eternal Guard and a lot of these like basic troops that people defend their back lines with. Way Watcher shooting in here, getting some nice volleys here, but these are Black Knights, so they're really cheap. They only cost, I think, like 700 or something. Dirt cheap cav units. 80 armor, shielded, pretty nice for sure if you're going to use someone to kind of take the initial beating here from the Way Watchers. And it looks like the Way Watchers are going to be opting to shoot at this White King. Now, White Kings do have silver shields? No, he is not going after those. Okay, so he's continuing to unleash massive salvos of fire here on the Black Knights, which probably should be pulled back at this point. Ooh, look at that Scab Scrape. So that is an item on the White King. That is a really, really good value piece right there. It didn't kill any models, but it did brutal damage. So the Black Knights look like they're going to be opting to maybe charge in and just take a beating for Nagash or Manfred or whoever else. Another Scab Scrape going down. So that, again, is the activatable item here from the White King. Doesn't do too much damage at all. I think it kind of missed, to be fair. No, it actually made a little bit of contact, but for sure better used on like tightly packed units and things like that. So the Black Knights are going to be charging in. The Eternal Guard will rush forward to kind of protect those guys, and he pulls back immediately. So, at the very least, the rest of his stuff isn't taking too much damage. On top of that, you can see Tank is going to be getting his Mortis Engine pulling up and through the tree line and is probably going to be collapsing over here, where it's safest away from the Way Watchers. In the back, we do also have another group of Black Knights kind of lurking in the shadows, and I would imagine the Feasters in the Dusk are making their way through the forest. So those guys will be coming in soon. Felbats are used to actually attack the Dryads, or maybe the edge here of the Way Watchers. A little bit hard to tell, but seems like some pretty aggressive plays here from Tank. Definitely not sure about sending the Black Knights in there. Granted, they will hold down the Sisters of Thorn for some time. Granted, A-Move has a lot of support nearby. He has the Winterheart Guard. I mean, they're going to be able to cut down those Black Knights. So now the Blood Knights are coming. The other Black Knights are here as well. Felbats are fighting Dryads, and all of the archer units for A-Move Hacker, he's doing a really good job keeping them going, are still firing. They're still happy. And the mainline fighting is now underway. So Skeleton Warriors have engaged against Eternal Guard. The frontline fight won't be bad for Wood Elves, but with the White Kings helping out, the White Kings will make that a winnable fight here for the Skeleton Warriors most likely. So the Curse going down, Curse of Onrare, going to be lowering the stats of many of these units, the speed and melee attack, which is going to be quite helpful. And now we have the creepy crawlies here. The Feasters in the Dusk have engaged on the Eternal Guard, but really good reaction by A-Move, very, very quick. He pulls the Sisters, he charges them, and that's going to make it a hard fight for those little golems. They certainly can take a lot of damage here. So now it looks like a Manticore Summon might be going down here. Pravenoth Raymond going down on the Von Karstein Vampire Lord and a Manticore Summon. He is taking a little bit of Way Watcher fire. Granted, thankfully for Tank's sake, he was able to get a Zombie Summon on top of the Way Watchers before that went off, so it wasn't quite as bad as it could have been. So now one White King is waddling back here. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord definitely needs to get back up in the sky and maybe try and run, because the Feral Manticore is coming for him here, which is, he can obviously beat it in a duel, but he's going to take a lot of damage in doing so. So I would imagine just avoiding this beast is going to be the better bet. So the one thing that's going relatively well for Tank, I would say the game is going a little bit better for the Wood Elves overall. They're getting a lot of value. They've shut down all the cav play. He's been very quick to react, and here you go. Nice little Storm of the Night used on the Feral Manticore, trying to allow his Blood Dragon or his Von Karstein Lord to get away here. But yeah, he's got the White Kings in the back line. The White Kings are chopping away here, and now the Mortis Engine is coming out of the tree line. And it looks like Tank has a lot of stuff over here, zombies and skeletons that could be used to kind of push through here. But the Mortis Engine definitely wants to push on the Way Watchers and start draining down all these troops. One White King is very, very beat up. Man, they're taking a lot of damage here. And the Blood Knights, I think, have yet to make a lot of impact. Oh, this would be a great charge here. If he could get the Blood Knights and charge into the Sisters, that would completely destroy them. However, it looks like he is using the Blood Knights instead to rear charge into the infantry here. Trying to get value where he can. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord up in the sky once again, maybe eyeing the prize here of the Glade Lord, but he is taking some focus fire here from the Way Watchers. And the other group of Way Watchers is being chased by zombies and a White King, so I mean, even though the balance is a little bit favored here for the Wood Elves, if the Way Watchers do get compromised and some good invocations do go off, that could most certainly be a difference maker. But a pretty big mistake there with the Blood Knights. In my opinion, the Blood Knights should have gone after the Sisters. It would have been a free charge, would have knocked them out of the battle for sure. And charging into the infantry, I don't think that was super necessary, especially considering there was Azrai Spears there. So here comes the Mortis effect, and if the archers do get shut down though, like as we look at this objectively, if the archers get taken out, ooh, nice sniping going in, you can see the arrows of Kurnus from the Glady over there, shooting into the Von Karstein Vampire Lord. But if the archers do get sniped, the Way Watchers get taken out somehow, the vampires could still win this pretty easily, for sure, because the Mortis Engine and all the zombies and the White Kings will eventually win the ground fight, especially when the Manticore summons and those other tools are gone. Ravenoth Raymond going down once again on the Von Karstein Vampire Lord. The archer play is a little bit beat up, though. You can see here the Way Watchers, 25 of 45 models. These ones are pretty much offline, only 19 here. So we'll see if the Von Karstein Lord can survive. He's about to get jumped here by the Glade. That does give him the opportunity to fight back. He's down to about 1,400. I wonder if Tank has an Invocation in his back pocket. Certainly a very good scrap so far. Looks like he's going to be running 800 HP. He definitely wants to run away and just heal somewhere safe where he can. Some Skeleton Spearmen are being pushed onto the Way Watchers there. And this melee fight, like I said, is decent for the Vampire counts. However, oh man, how is this Mortis Engine taking so much damage? It must be the Feral Manticore. The Manticore doing a really good job. But the Manticore will be disappearing in about 3 or 4 seconds, which means that the Mortis Engine, if microed effectively by Tank, should be able to start draining again. Also, I think getting the Blood Dragon Lord to go after the Spellsinger here and try and goon out some of these weaker targets would be very, very choice. For sure, and I don't know, A-Move does have this Flying Bird as well. The Glade Lord can simply sit above and shoot down at the Mortis Engine and really, really do a lot of damage. And the Way Watchers are still shooting somehow. Really, really good control with those guys. White King still fighting as well. Manticore will be disappearing here. Oh, man, it's taken forever. I thought it would have been disappearing a long time ago. But with the Mortis Engine going down, that pretty much seals the fate for the Vampire counts. But that was their kind of one lifeline to drain down all these troops and just grind out the battle. And now that that's gone, I really don't see an avenue for Tank to get back in this game. He's got the Von Karstein Vampire Lord, but it's pretty damn beat up. And the Glade still has a ton of ammo herself and can just sit on the Von Karstein Lord and get some really good focus fire. And Tank now going in for a good gooning attempt, which certainly is not a bad play. Going after the Spellsinger with the Lore of Beasts, but the Von Karstein Vampire Lord is going to be forced back, and that probably is going to be all she wrote for the Vampire counts. As the rest of the army's mostly just chaff. Zombies, I mean, maybe a couple skeletons kind of mixed in here and there. The White King's doing a really good job, though. Those guys grinding out the fight, and you can see that the Wood Elves are very beat up. Like, the whole army here is in tatters, basically. The Way Watchers are beat up. It was a close fight. As much you can see, it was about 7 or 8 minutes long, but there's just no way. Here comes a Flock of Doom going down. Going to be chipping into these quote-unquote last valuable units here for the counts. Nice little breath attack going in from the Von Karstein Lord into the back of these Eternal Guard. Might be able to actually break those guys. But the bounce power is pretty much point of no return. A-Move did a really good job keeping these Way Watchers alive and, keeping them out of harm's way. Vampire counts are crumbling down. That is going to be a Game 1 victory here for the Wood Elves. A-Move Hacker, who is going to be taking over the throne in the position of the King of the Hill. So well played. It's a really good game for sure. A couple little minor plays here and there could have made a big difference for both players. But yeah, it was a good one. Good way to start the stream. Good way to start the stream indeed. So let's go ahead and call in the next player here. We're calling in the deep. We got Flying Taco coming in. So like I said, some pretty fierce competition today. Flying Taco, you're up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the taco is on the way. Well played. GG, well played. Tank says, too accustomed to playing blobs lately. Yeah, fair play. So, Flying Taco will join here. Let's go ahead and update the scorecard. So this will be A-Move. Will be our first King of the Hill today. Just going to put A-Move for short. And that is going to be 1. And this is going to be... I'm going to wait on the current leader one for now. I think we could just update that when the time comes. Flying Taco is on the way. And let's pick a map that we don't see terribly often. I'm trying to... Somebody made a comment, and they're so right. Like, it gets a little bit boring watching the same maps. So we will do the Lost Crater. No, Lost Crater... I'm like afraid of the maps I don't know. I'm afraid of that which I don't understand. The Crack of Karkin. That one sounds like fun. Let's do that. Although that doesn't look like a good map, but I guess it is, yeah. It looks like it's like has forests on the side. Map set. King picks 3. King picks 3. A-Move. Oh no. Taco bans 1. King picks. Alright, perfect. So the King picks 3, Taco bans 1. So this is the format we've been using for King of the Hill, which I like quite a bit. I think it's a kind of a new, fresh look on the whole format here. Now I come hang out with you guys in chat, which is always good. Always a good time. Guys, any tips for Norskin versus Dwarfs? Yeah, the cheap chariots are pretty good. The Norskin chariots, just getting like Marauder champions with great opens isn't bad. Just going very wide with a lot of pressure angles is good. Some of the Famir are a little bit risky, but yeah, you can mix those guys in as well. Praise Kevin. Is Kevin here? Has he appeared? Kevin of the Hill. I know. The Crack of Karkin sounds epic. Let's just go for that. Let's just see what happens. No complaints. And we also have a donation coming in from Garland. Thank you so much. Your missus tried to talk me out of it, but here you are anyway. It's tradition. Thank you so much, man. That's very generous. Garland, hope you're doing well out there, man. Hope it's not post-APOC in your shopping centers and whatnot, like it is here. Oh my God. I was looking at compilations of people like fighting in Walmarts and Targets over like toilet paper. It's pretty absurd for sure. Yeah. So, a move is going to go Wood Elves, Dwarves, and Lizardmen. And Taco will ban Lizardmen and pick Beastmen. And then a move is going to go Wood Elves again. Very cool. It's funny because a move was like a Dwarf main for so long, and now he's really diversifying his faction. So, pretty cool stuff. So, it's going to be Beastmen versus Wood Elves in the Crack of Karkin. Mixing it up once again. Good luck, have fun. We'll see if a move can retain his place on the King of the Hill. Monadic, love your streams. Keep it going. I will, man. I will. Oh, dude, Samuel Moore. I'd have to really think about that. Like, off the top of my head, there's, like, micro things I would change, but I think there are things that probably will be changed when factions get updated. You know, like things like Grimgore and, like, all that. Sounds good, Garland. I'm glad to hear that, man. Glad to hear that. Yeah, Karen's duel to the death over TP. I know. One of them I saw was, like, at least, like, an 80-year-old grandma battling some other woman for some TP. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Hey, what's up, Dov? Well, this one has like 2 forests on the side, and then the middle is like a big ridge. So there is some open field, and the Wood Elves will have trees to work with if they want to. I'm going off the map list that basically some of the folks in the multiplayer community put together. I don't know. We'll see. You know, we should just do a terrible map stream one day. We should do a King of the Hill, but using only terrible maps. Like, just like the worst maps possible. Like the Battle of the Eternal Tides and like the Fall of Man and, you know, all this kind of crap. Garland, thank you again, man. All right, we're doing it. I'll take a look crispy bacon after the stream. A move's name could be part of a Yu-Gi-Oh opening song, says Arrow. Halflings. Ban greenskins, pick halflings. Yeah, we'll see. I really hope I bet you someday as like a kind of a funny free LC, they'll add in halflings. Like as like a couple, like maybe an ROR unit to the Empire or something. I bet you eventually there will be a couple weird halfling units added into the Empire. Like halfling militia, you know, with like pots and pans, and they're just like terrible, like a peasant mob to your infantry for the Empire. God, that'd be so funny. Oh my goodness. Because like, yeah, halfling militia, you could just make them peasant mobs basically, but even worse, they could cost like 75 gold and just be atrocious, you know? Like have like 4 melee attack and 4 melee defense and just just weapon strength is like 10, if even. That would be so funny. Oh my god. The halfling mobs. Alright, so A-Move Hacker's ready. Flying Taco making the final tweaks to his Beastmen force. We're here on the Crack of Karkin. And Zorro coming in. You know, I used to, one of my first dogs was actually named Zorro, man. Let's get the show on the road. Porca Madonna. What's going on over there? Thank you, Zorro. Appreciate it. I have no idea what that means. Hopefully it's not something bad. Yeah. The hot soup thrower. So many different ideas. Dov would love that. I see Dov Plays is excited with that idea. The halfling mob. Halfling militia. 75 gold. It's a great, cheap, expendable screen. They have like 18 move speed. You know? Which is absolutely terrible. Like slower than zombies. Because they're just like all short and sausage-like. Oh, man. You know, guys, this is totally off topic, but if you guys are looking for a really ridiculous, absurd show to watch, it's on TLC. It's called 90 Day Fiancé. If you guys haven't seen this, and it's a really good show to watch with your partner. It's so funny. It's so cringy and so absurd. You guys need to jump on 90 Day Fiancé Season 8. They're not paying me anything. No sponsorships here, but it is so damn funny. And absurd and just like, oh my god, is this really happening? Yeah, it's crazy, guys. Zypho says, weapon strength -10. They heal the enemy when they hit them because they're like hitting them with like shanks of meat that the enemy eats. Imagine prayer juice halflings decking goblins. Yeah, just like the Hammer of Sigmar prayer. Oh my god. So players are loading in. This is actually not a bad map. I mean, there are 2 forests here for... And, you know, I try and avoid maps like this because they tempt players to play, like, really degenerate playstyles. That's why I try and avoid maps like this, because even if it is, like, a decent map, a lot of times people will build around the forest, and it's really unfun to watch, but you know, we got to mix it up a little bit, try things out, and, you know, who doesn't love watching forest battles? I think beastmen are not bad at fighting in the trees also. I don't know if they have any, like, abilities that help with that, but who knows. We'll see if the Taco can take the, yeah, we'll see if Taco can take the King of the Hill. It's just, like, it's crazy, because Lady Turin and I went through the same process, more or less. You know, she came over here on a fiancé visa. We did all that. And so to us, it's like especially funny because we like had the, you know, the ideal situation, right? Like we went through it all. There was no drama. Like, but these people, it's just like, it's like just horrible mismatches, like gold digging, like people lying about things and then meeting each other in person. It's just lunacy. It's lunacy. All right, guys. So for the build of the Beastmen, let's take a look. We got Morker the Shadow Gave. He's got his staff of corruption and all that good stuff. A couple of harpies up in the sky to chase flying things and harass missile pieces. He's got a bunch of gore herds with a couple ungors here. And in the back, he does have minotaurs, butchers of Kalkengard, and minotaurs with shields as well. Very good choice. And a Cygor summoner. So if the Wood Elves want to hide in the trees, he is going to be able to summon a Cygor to throw some boulders at them. On top of that, he does have some regular Centaurs, and it looks like a single Raider, just to kind of keep things honest up in the sky. Now for the forces of the Wood Elves in the trees, we do have Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders. We do also have some Dryads. Yeah, it's pretty much like a cav rush. You can see here he's got like all these cav units. He's got Wild Riders. He's got Sisters of Thorn. Yeah, 2 Sisters, 2 Wild Riders up in the sky. We do, of course, have the glorious Glade Lord and a couple Glade Riders with Hagbane's Hips, which are actually pretty good at kiting Centaurs and some of the mobile Beastman elements. He's got a Spellsinger of Beasts, a Dragon Lord here, which is quite strong with the Helm of Discord, actually. So going for the melee Dragon Lord. And here in the front, a very aggressive position here of the Waystalker, which should be interesting. Not sure about the Waystalker. I guess he's not bad for like shooting down Minotaurs, but he's a little bit overextended here. But I have a feeling that's intentional. I think he's going to like try and bait like the units onto the Waystalker, at which point he'll like shoot them with missiles and harass. So the first arrow of Kurnus is going down, going after the Bray Shaman of Wilds. Does take him down to about 400 or 500, take about 400 or 500 HP off that bad boy, which certainly is not bad. Excuse me. A couple of Harpies as well getting poked. Those bird ladies or whatever they are, going to have to fall back here. As the Wood Elves do emerge from the forest, a massive bum rush coming in. You know, I don't know if the Beastmen infantry are ready for this. Taco, though, knows. He's going to fall back with his infantry, make sure they don't take a free charge. And at the very least, he'll have the Butchers of Kalkengard and the Pigs to kind of buffer this. So I wonder if Wild Riders do take a penalty for fighting in the trees. I don't think so, because they have the Forest Stalker keyword up at the top. I'll have to look into that someday. I don't really play Wood Elves terribly often, so they're one of the factions I'm a little bit kind of inept at. I mean, I have a basic understanding of the tactics from watching good players play Wood Elves, or good Wood Elf players play them, but you know, it is what it is. So Beastmen are advancing. The Blackhorns Ravagers, all these big cows and pigs and various farm animals preparing to attack here. And the Waystalker, a little bit awkward here. He's got 42 speed, so he should be able to outrun these guys. And here comes the charge of the Dryads. So the Gores are going to pull back, obviously Flying Taco wanting to overextend the Dryads into a bad situation. So he does get the charge off, and now the Minotaurs are going to be coming in as well. So the Minotaurs should drop the base here on these Dryads pretty hard. And there's not too much missile play to honestly punish this. I mean, there are some missiles in the form of Glade Riders, but they're not going to have like super crazy DPS as far as like missile units go. Some of the Sisters do charge in here, so we have a big engagement. Honestly, it looks like the Beastmen could have maybe stayed there. Nice Vile Tide right there, doing a little bit of a scratching here against Dryads, but that didn't do as much damage as I thought it did. It looks like a really good placement too. But the Butchers definitely want to get back in there. Over here we have the Pigs and the Gores going after the Dryads and winning that engagement. And up in the sky we do have the Glade Lord, who's looking to maybe drop the Helm of Discord here. So yeah, he just sits in the sky, he drops Helm of Discord in this engagement. He gets a good breath attack here, but against the Ungors it's not like that important. They're pretty much just a chaff unit. But the fight, despite the Helm of Discord, seems to be going pretty well for the Beastmen. But the rear charge coming in from the Dragon could be very substantial. I would imagine Flying Taco here is going to summon a Cygor here. Knowing that this is like the big alpha fight now, he'll summon a Cygor, he'll use his spawn summons. Both players are basically just going balls deep on this engagement. Workers coming in, there's Ungor Spears pushing in. Like, yeah, heavy commitment. I mean, whoever wins this will probably honestly win the game. I would imagine. So Centaurs are still fighting, Razor Gores are fighting, we have a Cygor in here, we have Chaos Spawn fighting. I mean, and you can see that the Wild Riders are taking a bit of damage. Wison's Wild Form was overcasted to hit all these troops, giving them armor and weapon damage, which is very good against Beastmen troops. They, of course, don't have the best AP values. Now back here, though, really good sniping by A-Move. Some good tactical diversion. Getting his casters and his characters and gooning out this Bray Shaman who's completely trapped, and down goes the caster. So Flying Taco has lost his caster pretty early. That's a bit of an unfortunate situation, which basically means there's not going to be a second Cygor summon, which is really, really big. Very, very powerful, for sure. Now, the second Manticore summon is coming down right here. It looks like the first Manticore summon is still doing its thing, trying to goon out Morker the Shadow Gave. And honestly, like we said, whoever won this might win the game, but it seems to be a complete wash. Both players' army basically completely decimated here in this battle. So if we look around, there are some raiders coming back online. Harpies are attacking some of the wild riders. And the beastmen are holding pretty firm here. The feral manticore is trying to goon out the butchers of Kalkengard, definitely doing a good job there. And the forced spawn summon was used, so that wasn't the targeted one, it was the forced one that basically goes off when a threshold is met of a nearby unit. And it is crumbling down the dryads, which is definitely nice, but the dragon being healthy is a bit scary. Now, what do the beastmen have that's very good against a dragon? The minotaurs aren't bad for sure. Morker can go fisticuffs against the dragon, but it's not a great situation for him. The battle's very, very close, honestly. And if the battle is close, it's generally a good sign for the Wood Elves in this case, because the Beastmen are one of those factions that just get so inflated by all their summons, they just blow up like a balloon. And if the battle can be kept close, I mean, normally at this point, you see the bounce of power for the Beastmen is going to be like very heavily favored, or at least over the halfway point. But here it's pretty even, so certainly a scrap. Cygor Summon does disappear, which is pretty big, but the Glade Lord actually takes quite a bit of damage, and Morker's getting in there with his claw, and he's going after the Spellsinger of Life, and this is a pick that definitely should not happen. The Spellsinger is very quick, 71 speed even when poisoned, and Morker is very slow, so this is a pretty big mistake here, letting this Spellsinger go down. Also on top of that, Feral Manticore is disappearing. You also have to remember that both factions are kind of relying on summons to an extent. The Wood Elves, of course, are using Manticore summons, and here the Beastmen are just using, Cygor summons and Spawn summons. But yeah, losing the Spellsinger here could be something that loses him the game. That wasn't necessary, it could have fallen back, but I mean, it had already used its 2 Manticore summons, so it's not terrible, but it's still a powerful unit that you're losing here in this battle. So players are just saying good luck, have fun, making sure there weren't any rule questions. Now, as far as what the Wood Elves have left, they have plenty of kiting. They have the, of course, the Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips. The Beastmen have a lot of mobility left. They still have the Butchers of Kalkengard, who are still healing, mind you. They have pigs, they have more Minotaurs with shields, they have some raiders as well, and Morker the Shadowgave is very healthy. Currently, as the bounce of power looks, I think that the Beastmen probably are going to win this. Picking off the caster there and getting that much damage on the Glade Lord is really, really big, and there's not really much punch left. I mean, despite the engagement going... I suppose the Wood Elves probably put more value into that engagement with all the Wild Riders and Sisters of Thorn, and they still kind of lost it. It was very, very close, though. So now the Beastmen can basically just wade through the trees. The trees will also block the Wood Elf archers, and the Minotaurs have silver shields. So basically what Taco is going to do here is he's going to use the Blackhorns Ravagers, these other troops, just to push forward and waste the missiles here. And when eventually these dudes do run out of missiles, the Glade Riders with the Hagbane Tips and all that, he's going to have to engage into Minotaurs and like pigs and all these different things, and it's not going to be a good situation. Now, if we look around, what else is going on here? Doesn't look like too much. It looks like there might be a unit back here. Yeah, there's some Wild Riders back there, but for the most part, not too much going on here. Wood Elves just kind of kiting as they do. A little bit low on ammo, though. 0 ammo here, and it looks like 1 ammo left on these guys. And the Sisters of Thorn do have a lot of ammo, though, so that's really good for a move because it allows him to kite and like cycle charge while their ammunition is being used here. So you can certainly do that. Now, on the tree line, the Beastmen are just like, all right, use your ammo. We'll just chill here, which is completely fair. And yeah, they're going to shoot. Wood Elves have the Waystalker. They have the Dragon up in the sky. So big terror routes could be a big factor as well. The terror routes are, of course, incredibly potent there. And how much ammo does this character have? It looks like 15 shots left, which is pretty good. Waystalker is out of ammo. Must have been shooting the entire game on auto fire here. Both players kind of taking a bit of a deep breath after that engagement. The Beastmen marching out of the trees very, very slowly. Ungor Raiders are still pretty useful here because they can kind of push forward and attack here. And you can see they're trying to get into range of some of these characters here. A move probably going to be going after the Glade Lord, or shooting with the Glade Lord into the tree line here. And it looks like the other Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips are being moved forward and given an attack order here into the trees. Oh, that's a good play, though. He does Rampage the Razor Boars. That's quite nice because it forces Taco to kind of advance his army, unless he just wants to lose these pigs for free, because the pigs will now push out of the trees. And yeah, I think Taco knows this, and he is going to be pushing out of the tree line and trying to go after these goodies here. So here comes the pigs. 18 Razor Gores of 24. Still some pretty good fighting power on these piggies. Pretty slow right now, though. 53 speed, so certainly not the quickest of lads. The dragon might come down and just fight them, but he's going to take some damage as well if the pigs don't instantly rout. So 2,300. You can see he immediately takes a couple tusks to the face. At least one. And the pigs do break. So Minotaurs are coming in as well. Some of the Raiders getting a little bit of poking damage in, but that's nice, if you can bait the Rampages. But you can see as ammunition does run a little bit lower for these remaining Wood Elf Archer units that are shooting in, the bounce power is going even more and more into the favor here of the Beastmen, because ammunition does count a lot towards the bounce power. And honestly, I think the Beastmen army can just endure this. I don't think the Wood Elves have enough stopping power, but a move obviously is going to try and scrap here, and we've seen it been done before. I mean, for example, games in which you see Lotus Moon play, he often looks like he's losing, and then he comes forward for like a big alpha strike in the end, and is able to win the battle. really maximizing his ammunition, sniping the key assets and things like that. But in this case, with Morker being this healthy and this much Beastmen, that is a lot of Beastmen stuff. And also, the Raiders for the Ungors are shooting up in the sky and getting some topical damage here against the Glade Lord. And there's no healing in this army. As a matter of fact, army losses might be relatively close. Big Breath Attack's going to be coming down here. Here it comes. Nice taco play right there. He was able to kind of switch so he wasn't down the line. Now the Ungors still get Shrek'd pretty good, but it's better than taking a shot right down the line. So you turn to face the target, and then it just hits the center mass instead of actually hitting the unit like down in a straight line like that, which is very, very punishing for sure. Ungor Raiders still kind of shooting. Wood Elves are a little bit out of ammo now at this point. So let me go ahead and look and see if they're out of ammo. I think they are across the board. So the Glade Lord is probably going to come in now. I would imagine Wood Elves preparing for an engagement. Some Dryads are being given orders to come forward here, and the Dragon is attacking. Wood Elves might try an Alpha Strike, but it's just it's not going to work out terribly well. And the Beastmen are just so meaty, and they also have a ton of pigs in the trees. The Racer Gores are going to be very tough to kill, actually. So here comes the Wood Elf units, thinking about charging in here. And I actually have to check the rules. I can't remember if the Glade Lord shooting counts as attacking. I'm not sure, like if single entities, because we did actually have that come up in the, what is it called? The ECL Finals. We had the, what's it called? We had like a couple Canade Assassins kiting for a long time when they were all that's left. I'm not sure about that. But nonetheless, Wood Elves are charging in. And the Razor Gores are going to charge in as well. Minotaur's coming in, and this is going to be a Beastman battle. There's like no way. Although the Helm of Discord is quite good, but the Minotaurs are back here, and I think Taco left them back here on purpose. So now he can charge in and surround this Glade Lord, which is probably going to lead to some scary situations. A lot of damage coming in on the Glade Lord, down to 1600, but he does get some really good terror routes for sure. Minotaurs are fighting in the front with shields, but the Helm of Discord really making a pretty big difference here. And this would be a pretty crazy comeback if he was able to do this, but negative 14. No, 1.4 K HP. Leadership somewhat stable. Morker the Shadowgate getting those claws in there, down to 1200. That's probably going to trigger army losses, despite the fact that the Wood Elves actually have quite a bit. But the terror route was very important here, doing quite a bit of work, but Morker is immune to psychology, so he won't break. And the Butchers of Kalkengard also cause terror themselves. So yeah, you can see a mass terror route going down, and that is going to be a victory for Flying Taco. So well played. I'll check that rule for sure. I can't quite remember. It's tricky to cast and keep track of all those things, but Flying Taco is going to be the king of the hill. The Bray Herd cometh and overwhelms the forest people. So well played. Taco showing some good resilience there. All right. What's up, Shetland? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, brother. We have a donation from D. Zhao for 200 SEK. Longtime lurker here. Great stream as always. Hope everyone is well. The Emperor protects. He does. That is Karl Franz, the Emperor. Thank you so much, Mr. Zhao. Very much appreciated. Flying Taco is going to take over as King of the Hill. So the Taco has one here. And next up on our King of the Hill list, we have King of the Dead. A fan favorite for sure. Bringing the drowned. King, you're up. So he's on his way now. GG, well played, being said by both players here. And now, that was kind of a decent map. I wouldn't be opposed to adding that into the rotation. All right, so let's find another map here. So one that doesn't get played often. We'll do the Ashen Hall. The Void of Helm Fen, or Helfen. I don't know about that one. We don't want to put him on a small map quite yet. We'll do a medium-sized map. Eastern Straits Isle South. So we'll do that one. Eastern Straits Isle South. Again, trying to mix it up. I think I played on this one before. I think it's pretty decent. So Taco, a very good Beastman player. Insanely good. Turin, in your opinion, what are the lower tier factions in multiplayer? Probably Bretonia and, I don't know. Yeah, Bretonia, mainly. Dwarves probably have some really good matchups, but also some really bad ones. So, I don't know. Those would probably be my 2 cents. Shetland Apache, I'm good. Thanks, Turin. Just hosted a tournament where Gorst won 5 games. Game 5 of the finals? Man. That is quite impressive. Zimmerex, who is currently the worst faction? Now, that's a bit of a... The question's a little bit tricky to answer because I don't think they're like... Bretonia has some good matchups in which they're really fun and really balanced, but they also have some really terrible ones. So it's more a question of who has the most bad matchups, and that's probably Bretonia, to be fair. The Void of Helm Fen is good. Yeah, we'll do that. It's a big map and has lots of swamps. Yeah. All right, good to know. Good to know indeed. All right. So... King picks 3. Challenger Good luck, have fun. So we got King of the Dead. I wonder if he'll meme or if he'll try and win. Yeah. See a lot of people in chat, especially top level players, echoing that sentiment. Yeah, Bretonia, dwarves have some really brutal hard counters for sure. Like, if you first pick dwarves and like Skaven aren't banned for some reason, you just basically lose. Yeah, Shetland, I would agree with your assessment. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid, my friend. So we're going down the good old list. We have a lot of people in reserves as well. Oh no. We have High Elves versus the Drowned. King of the Dead is like the King of the Drowned now. So Flying Taco's going to go High Elves. King is going to go the Drowned, which is a sub-faction that actually has unique units in the Damned Paladins. Oh my god. King is really a hero of the people. And the funny thing is he can actually win with this. I wonder how Taco's going to play this. Taco will have a lot of magic damage because High Elves do have like Sisters of Avalorn and a couple other things that can really nuke ghostly units. So I wonder if King is still going to go just deep in the meme and just embrace it and try and make it work. Okay, so we have the Drowned versus High Elves here. King of the Dead versus Flying Taco. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Deacon Scale Singer. That's funny, man. I know, the good old Book of Grudges. It's going to be High Elves versus the Drowned. Highest skill ceiling factions, let me think. I don't know. It's hard to say. Usually I think like Empire is one that's really has a high skill cap. I think a lot of the elf factions do as well because they're very micro intensive and squishy. So if you're not good at micro, like oftentimes you just get dunked on. Those Damned Paladins, yes, they're coming. They're coming indeed. All right, let's load this up. General, perfect. Everything looks good. Players are picking their armies. Taco just needs to bring Ilariel with her magic ore. Yeah, that's true. So Ilariel the Everqueen, I totally forgot. She has the Boon of Aisha, which gives all nearby units magic damage, which is basically like a hard counter against the Drowned. if you know, but King, what's really funny is King might not he might just go traditional here and like mind game. You never know. He's he's a treacherous opponent. So King of the Dead is ready. You know, he might still bring like Queen Bess and just go with like a traditional coast army. You never know. Thank you guys for joining on Saturday afternoon or nighttime. I know in Europe it's probably like 9, 10, 11 midnight for some of you guys getting over to the Far East in Russia. Probably gets pretty late, but thanks for joining. Hopefully we can help get you through the weekend until all this apocalypse nonsense passes. Eastern Straits Isle is the map. Yeah, it's a pretty good map actually. I like this one. Yeah, all right, we're mixing it up. Well, it's like one army kind of landing from the coast. It'd be cool if there was like a bunch of Norscan longships here or something. But again, that wouldn't make sense if there was like an Empire army or something on this side. All right, guys, let's take a look at the Army of the Drowned. So King of the Dead, of course, loves his hounds. He has Scurvy Dogs into the Sunset. He has Deck Gunners, actually. So how many Deck Gunners does he have? Just one. 2 Syrenes. And he does have a Damaged Paladin and Celostra. So there's plenty of ghostly units here, but a lot of terror for sure. Syrenes cause terror. And, you know, on paper, Syrenes are actually pretty good against elite high elf infantry and even against spearmen. They can like terror route them. So he's got Syrenes, he's got zombies, he does have Deck Gunners. As far as artillery goes, he does have 2 mortars to kill archers. Queen Bessie, I think I saw. Did we see Queen Bess? No, just mortars. Okay. And yeah, basically in this matchup, one of the things for Vampire Coast is killing all the high elf archers, which are very good against Coast. So you need to use either Scurvy Dogs or mortars or Queen Bess or some combination of that. And King does have Deck Gunners plus 2 mortars. Now, he's going to need to advance his army to make sure that there's a buffer between the archers and his artillery pieces. It's a big mistake a lot of Vampire Coast players do make. He does also have a Celostra with the Lore of the Deep, so Tide Call, Fog of the Damned, and Crab Summon. And he does have a Damned Paladin who is going to be hiding behind Celostra. And Scurvy Dogs basically all around the map. It's a good build, actually. Like for something that's kind of like has a bit of a meme element, it still has some teeth and can win. Now for the forces here, of the Taco, he's got Spearmen into the front. He does have a single Bolt Thrower to try and counter Queen Bess, it looks like, and Archers into the Sunset, so it looks like King is relatively well prepared for this. He does also have Lothern Seaguard in the far back and Sisters of Avalorn to bring some magic AP damage for the crabs and things like that. 2 Reavers. For his Lord, he does have Teclis to imbue the Flaming Sword of Ruin, which of course can also give magic damage and fire damage, both of which are quite good against Coast. And he's got a couple Reavers. Very, very cool. Both players have good builds. It's just going to come down to micro, and for King, it's really going to come down to his Hound micro. Taco does have Reavers on this side, and Reavers are a very good anti-Hound unit, and basically you don't use them to pressure Coast, you use them defensively, basically just to screen out the Scurvy Dogs. Because King of the Dead loves his hounds, you know, and what's really funny, a bit of a fun fact about King, is he doesn't use control groups. So basically in every single RTS game, if you look at top tier players, they have control groups, you know, so they'll be able to hit one, which will switch to certain units. It's like, it's the status quo, but King is like a very, very good player, but he doesn't use any control groups. He manually micros every single unit in his army for the most part when it comes down to like the hounds and things like that. A bit of a misplay here though. King does get his Scurvy Dogs caught. Looks like the other Scurvy Dogs are going to be opting to go after the Reavers, which I think is a huge mistake. You definitely just got to cut your losses there and pull back. But he does opt to charge in there, but like the dogs will lose really, really bad in that engagement. But yeah, King needs to get away now. Like this is a big mistake. And he does pull back. I mean, at least he nips a couple, you know, HP off these guys. But for the most part, he does sacrifice his Scurvy Dogs, which are super important in this matchup. You really need them to be pressuring the back line and causing drama and all sorts of stuff like that. Unfortunately for King, since he did go for Lord of the Deep, he also does not have any healing for Celostra. So the bolt thrower damage will add up. So some of the doggos, sorry about that, guys. Got my throat there for a second. Some of the doggos are trying to get away, but for the most part, they're doomed. The other doggos look for an opportunity in the front, but Flying Taco is not having any of King's nonsense here. He is screening out those hounds pretty well, and you can see these Scurvy Dogs are in a little bit of trouble. So these Scurvy Doggos, I think King's going to try and fly up through the middle here, maybe go right through here and maybe attack some of these archers or things like that. But really, I think being more patient with the hounds would really behoove him. On top of that, I think King needs to scoot forward because what's going to happen here, and I've had this happen to me 100 times, I consider myself a coast main, is that these archers are going to scoot up and there's no buffer. Like the undead need to be up here, like in front of the spears right now, because the archers are going to be able to freely advance on the mortars and basically just do whatever they want. And Coast hasn't really gotten too much damage with the mortars yet. It's more of a long-term investment here, but now he's advancing. We'll see if it's enough. He might be able to kind of screen out the archers. Celostra's going in. She's going to be summoning crabs, and Celostra does have some really good backline disruption as well. Yeah, see, this is the problem. The archers can now just kill the mortars. And if the mortars go, then there's really not too many threats left to the archers, unfortunately. So some of the Scurvy Doggos have gone in here, but good reaction and good layering from this High Elf build. He's able to focus down the Scurvy Dogs, and Lothar and Seaguard will be able to put up a fight. And also, you can see here Taco is pulling in some Reavers here, which... Are they going to go after the Damned Knights Errant or the Hounds? The remnants of the Hounds do get in here, and this is big for King. If he can get back here and do some serious damage, that could be a big game changer for sure. So the Damned Knights Errant are back here. It looks like the Fog of the Damned, or no, Crab Summit is being used as well to try and get into the back line and cause some problems. Celostra is tanking those shots like an absolute champion, and some of the Scurvy Doggos have broken some archers, so that's pretty good. Despite initial rough Hound play, that's what King should have been doing in the beginning, basically being patient with his Hounds and then pushing up and through the center when the fighting started. The Damned Paladin back here causing some problems as well, and it looks like some sort of a witchcraft. Yes, a flaming sword of ruin from Teclis going down, which gives all these archers magic damage, which basically means they can melt these ghostly knights in a matter of seconds. You can see just getting absolutely shreked here. Not having a good time at all. Celostra is afflicted by the Scroll of Hoeth, which does add 30 seconds to her ability recharge, so she can't do anything fancy right now. In the back, the Vampire Coast has lost mortars, I think. Yeah, one mortar is completely dead. The other one is still shooting. King still does have the deck gunners, and the frontline engagement isn't going terribly. You can see there are some routing High Elves here. The Illyrian Reavers are routing off, and some of the Spearmen are routing off here. It looks like there is going to be the Fiery Convocation from Teclis going down, which really will roast these zombies if it makes contact. That thing gets like an absolute truck. Oh man, those zombies got KO'd. Oh, look at the 2-for-1 value. That was so good. The Fiery Convocation basically just killed both of those zombies, and with that, you can see the Bounce Fire does start to pull in the favor of the High Elves pretty hard, as the Drowned is perhaps drowning here in this battle. Celostra coming in here. Arcane Conduit is activated. She sings atop her mighty crab here. And she does engage on these High Elf archers. And now she's going to be surging into the back, going after the Sisters of Avalorn, which are the most pertinent threat to her here. A couple zombie halberds back here. The mortar is still shooting, I think. No, it looks like it's completely done. So the bolt thrower probably was able to actually take out those mortars, which is really disastrous. In the meantime, Sirens here are battling Teclis. Teclis is fully buffed up here by the Flaming Sword of Ruin, so he does do magic damage. And those ghostly ladies are not having a good time. Flying Taco with a really masterclass High Elf play right there. Again, it wasn't like a super optimized Vampire Coast build, but still, many fundamentals were really good. Him screening out the Hounds was exceptional. Like, he didn't take any crap from those Hounds. And on top of that, being able to really layer well and have a bit of a High Elf onion of sorts with many layers was very, very strong. Celostra going in here, and I do actually like Celostra as a pick against High Elves. She can summon those knights in the back line, which can really disrupt archers and can be very, very powerful. Fog of the Damned going down. Is this Bounce of Power kind of creeping back a little bit? Fog of the Damned going down, which of course lowers leadership of these units here and could lead them to terror routing here. Some of the Sirens are chasing these Sisters of Avalorn, and a Crab Summon has been used over here as well. But I think that Celostra at this point would even lose to Teclis in a duel because she's so beat up. But it's hard to say. A couple of halberds moving forward as well. this mortar team being taken out by the Reavers back here, but there were no mortar pieces anyway, so it's not really a big deal. And the balance is it's getting worse and worse for the coast. It kind of did go back for a second when he summoned some of those Crabos, but now it's going to be too much, I think. Ammunition's pretty good too. You can see Flying Taco does have archers and plenty of stuff to work with here, and both players, I think, saying GG, knowing that this bad boy is probably over. But, you know, King is ever the scrapper, coming in with his memes and fighting to the bitter end. And Slaughter dropping the crab base. And there she goes. Down for the count. That is going to be the Herald of Doom here for the remnants of the drowned. Well, at least they're near the water. They can, you know, crawl back into the water and figure it out from there. Back in the ocean from whence they came. The sea. Whatever it is. I'm not really sure about what part of the world we're in Warhammer. And there you have it, guys. Flying Taco. 2-0. He is the current leader. Now we can update it. I feel like it's a little bit ridiculous to put the current leaders when they just have one win. Because it's like, you know, then I have to put like 50 names there if it just keeps going. Well played. But guys, let's give a big round of applause to King of the Dead for the glorious Drowned showcase. A valiant effort for sure. But Teclis and his Taco Legion were able to overwhelm the Drowned. The Coast meme approved. Indeed. Why is Flying Taco's name so screwed up? I'm sorry, that must have looked really bad. All right, so let's update the score. And move that over a tiny bit. Perfect. And the current leader is going to be Taco. Taco is rocking a rock hard 2 wins here. So Taco's got 2. He's on a roll. Next up on the list, we have Aneurysm Sauce. All right. You're up. Good luck, have fun, brother. The Taco not taking any mercy on these players today. All right, so let's go ahead and do the Void of Helm Fen, recommended by the Great Shetland Apache. So let's check that bad boy out. Is it the Void of Helm Fen or is it Void of Helm Fen? It's a map I never use, so I'm like not even sure where it is. The Void of Helm Fen. There it is. All right, cool. Oh yeah, I know this one. This is an old school one. So as a matter of fact, Flying Taco yesterday on the Eternal Challenger round of 8 actually defeated Talaxlan Soothsayer in a best of 3. It was an amazing game. I mean, either player could have won at multiple points. Yeah. Oh no, the bots are here. Slay them all. We have 200 rubles coming in from we're asking where are the Magic streams. You know, maybe I'll do a Magic stream on Sunday night. Yeah, I've just been so into doing these King of the Hills and things like that. And usually at night I've been painting 40k lately, but I just finished painting all my Terminators for Emperor's Children. So yeah, maybe I'll get back to some Magic streams. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Unfortunately, I can't read the name. Somebody could translate it for sure. That would be helpful. The bots do have some good game knowledge. Aneurysm Sauce says General Kenobi. That is the correct response. That's so good. All right. Good luck, have fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy these King of the Hill streams. I know it's a good way to pass the time. Samuel Moore says, turn I have to go. Just want to say, man, I absolutely love your stream and have been watching since Warhammer 1. Hey, I'm glad you stuck around, man. I know the game's getting a little bit older now, but it's really refreshing to see the community stay strong. And the mods standing valiantly against the tide of these filthy bots here. Yeah. The soulless Neverborn infesting the chat. It's pretty good. Davina says bot phobia is abuse. Oh my god. Shields up! Interlock shields! So, Flying Taco is picking Beastmen, Tomb Kings, Dark Elves, and Mr. Sauce bans the Dark Elves and picks Lizardmen. And okay, so we got Lizardmen versus Tomb Kings, which, in my opinion, is a Tomb King favored matchup. However, Lizards can win it. And also on this map, it's very aquatic. So the aquatics trait actually will matter on this map, which is quite hilarious. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes indeed, my friend. I haven't tried a Proving Grounds campaign yet. I think I might do one next week. Okay, so Stan. Misha, is it like Stanislav or something? Well, Stan, thank you for the donation. No blockers today. Gokthim says, turn, when going to a 40k TG, please do more zoom up, close up on the miniatures. Sure. No problem, man. I'll try and do that. I'll do that at least in the introduction so you can see them there. Stanislav? Yeah, thank you, Stanislav. Really appreciate it, man. How do you strip paint from secondhand minis? I tried alcohol, but it doesn't remove primer. It's tricky because the stuff I used to use back in the day, I can't seem to find it anymore, but maybe I'll make a... It was called like something green, and you just buy it from like the dollar store. Dov says, like the streamer, I'll send pistoliers to your house. Oh my god. I would honestly just look at like YouTube tutorials. There's like a lot of like really good painters who like have way better knowledge than me about that. I wish there was a way to make all the bots named Richard or Jeremy and leave them be. Yeah. Yeah, you could ask Palooka too, for sure. And feel free to link to that, Misha. So yeah, we got Lizards versus Tomb Kings, XMT Flying Taco against Aneurysm Sauce. Coming in hot with the dinos. Wonder how we'll play this. I mean, basically, historically speaking, the Tomb Kings basically just went with, Ushapti Great Bow. They just wreck all the dinosaurs. And then from there, they can use, any number of anti-infantry tools like Tomb Scorpions and things like that to deal with the hordes. Nahakar Horsemen for skink clearing. There's a lot of good tools here. I think it's a matchup that is favored for Tomb Kings, but it's still very winnable for dinos, for sure. I've seen, in a multitude of tournaments, I've seen dinos win it, but it's not like a horrible matchup. Dinos are one of those factions that don't have like too many terrible matchups, but they have some that are slightly misfavored, but, for the most part. Mysticos, the games are played with 12,400 gold. That is standard for ladder. Yes. One of the bots sharing her thoughts on the regen abilities. Sending flagellants? Oh, that'd be scary for sure. I mean, because at least the Pistoliers could be reasoned with, but if you sent flagellants after someone, they would just Yeah, the Titan's becoming a thing, isn't it? If you dislike, Volkmar will roll over your house and banish you. That's just straight up roll over your home in his cart. In the War Altar of Sigmar. It's so great. All right. The Void of Helen Fen is here. A fight in the swamps. Certainly the lizards fighting in their natural habitat. It's not Lestria, I don't think. I think this is Albion where this battle takes place. Or where the map is. It's like on some kind of a swampy island somewhere. It doesn't look like Lestria by any stretch of the imagination. And I think this is a game 1 map, so... Yeah, it looks more like Vampire Count. Yeah, totally Vampire Count. Look at this. There's like a Mortis action going on in this tower. It's like a swampland, probably near Sylvania. Yeah, it very much. I think this map actually came out with the DLC, the first DLC, which was the one with Volkmar the Grim and Helman Gorst, the Grim and the Grave. That was like oh my god. I remember when I first saw that. Like I was just learning about Warhammer lore, right? Back then, when it comes to fantasy. And I was like, oh yeah, Volkmar the Grim, like when he appeared in the trailer and I looked up his lore and it was like epic and legendary. I was like, oh hell yeah, Volkmar's a badass. And then I'm like, oh, who's this vampire guy? And I go look at Helman Gorst and there's like 2 lines and it's just like so pathetic. Like lame. Like why the hell Gorst? All right guys, so for the build here, a Flying Taco, he's got 2 Screaming Skull Catapults. Very interesting. I'm curious about their applications here. Are they just to like clear out skinks? Like what do they do in this matchup? He's got 2 of those. If any of you guys have thoughts, please share with me here. He's got in front, it looks like it's going to be Skeleton Warriors. Obviously, they can tar pit and hold back skinks for quite some time. In the back, he's got Skeleton Spearmen to defend his back line, a bunch of Nehakar Horsemen, so really expecting probably a pretty big skink army. And for his leadership kit, he's got High Queen Khalida. Oh man, going for a Khalida build with the Tomb Prince for anti-large, and it looks like Nets of Emitok for really opportune sniping and gooning attempts from Khalida and the Tomb Prince. Also a Boner Giant. Pretty cool build here from Taco. I'm really curious to see how this works. It's very unorthodox. Like, Ushapti Great Bows are just always the go-to just because they're so damn cost-effective. But we'll see how the catapults do. And now for the forces of Aneurysm Sauce. On the front line, he does have red-crested skinks. And guys, GG, aquatics. Whereas some units struggle to fight and move in shallow water, aquatics units excel. So these guys can swim in these swamps, no problem. Secondary line is going to be cohorts for a little bit of poison. Overwatch Fire. On top of that, he does have Croxagores with their spanking paddles. These guys coming in hard. Certainly going to be clubbing, dropping the base here on some of these skeletons. And a little bit concerned about how Taco is going to deal with the Croxagores. I mean, the Bone Giant, of course, isn't bad, but that's a lot to deal with. 2 Laser Dinos as well, which are not bad at sniping Tomb King's Lords. They also do fire damage. So being able to goon out characters and Tomb King's Lords, which are weak to fire, I think is quite cool. It's a nice build. A couple little skinks hidden in the trees. Good luck, have fun. It's a bit of a theme build. As get it, he says. Must be some sort of a hello fellow kids, this young person speak. That's one of my favorite memes, the hello fellow kids one, with Steve Buscemi like dressed like a high school student. It's so good. Steve Buscemi was one of the comedians I really enjoyed watching in movies back in the day, like when he was in all the Adam Sandler movies. He's so good. Something about those eyes really draws you in. All right, the battle's underway. The Khalida build is coming in, and if anybody can make it work, it's certainly going to be Flying Taco. Currently going to be playing against A-Move Hacker, actually, in the first round of the ECL Grand Finals next weekend, so that's going to be quite a bit of fun. Screaming Skull Catapult shooting in quite happily. Raining some hot fire here on the skinks, but it looks like all but like a couple shots missed. Oh, there you go. There's the money shot. Getting a really nice centralized blast here on the red-crested skinks. They do have a discourage ability, so breaking off low leadership units is certainly something they're not bad at. And it looks like the first shaft comes in, and that Kroxigor eats the shaft right in the face, which is quite hilarious. But the Screaming Skull Catapult's actually doing brutal damage because the skinks are so kind of bunched up here. So the collateral damage is really nasty. So what's going to happen now is Taco is going to use his Nehekara Horsemen as a roadblock. He's going to send them out, just let them kind of get beaten down, pull back, and it basically buys more time for the Bone Giant as well as the catapults to really wreck shop. And those catapults are really actually doing some huge damage to these little red-crested skinks, some of which are already broken. But the Kroxigors march on. The Kroxigor Ancient's coming in as well. Awesome build here by both players. The Kroxigor Ancient is such a cool looking model. I mean, just look at that guy. He's actually pretty powerful in combat. I think he's a little bit better than Nakai, simply because he's cheaper and pretty much does the same thing. So he's coming in here. Red-crested skinks for skeleton warriors. That will favor these skinks because of the Kroxigor Ancient. And the Nehekara Horsemen, bit of a tongue twister there for a moment, my apologies, are pretty much just cycle charging back and forth, trying to get freebies wherever they can, really disjointing the army here of the lizards. A nice wind blast right there. Really good cast there by Aneurysm Sauce, able to nuke down the skeleton warriors. And so far, the Bone Giant doing a pretty good job, just kind of working his way across the Kroxigors. These ones have taken only 1 damage or 1 model loss, but the Bone Giant stands firm. Now, the real question is, how long is the Tomb King's front line going to hold against this onslaught? Here you can see we have a pretty big battle. Kroxigor Ancient is afflicted by the Blade of Setep, and Khalida plus the Tomb Prince will easily beat him in combat in a 2v1. Some Kroxigors are coming in to help, and it looks like the Kroxigor Ancient is having a really bad time getting knocked over in the water. Amulet of Itzel was popped, which is a great play here by Aneurysm Sauce, giving it 66% ward save. And so far, the Screaming Meme Catapults are still shooting in. I think the Laser Dinos probably want to be shooting, I don't know, what good targets they have. Probably killing the Lich Priest wouldn't be bad, or going after Khalida. In the meantime, it looks like there is going to be some witchcraft going down on this Bone Giant here. What is this? Is there a... Oh, look at that. That is the Thunderbolt. Actually doing some decent single target damage here to this Bone Giant. And the Laser Dinos have actually done a pretty good job working down the catapults, as one catapult only has 1 volley left, or 1 model left, 1 catapult model. But the other ones are pretty much healthy, and I don't know if it's worth the time of those Laser Dinos to shoot there. But nonetheless, Kroxigors and Skinks were able to break through the front. Now they're going to be pushing into the last reserve here of the Tomb Kings, which is going to be some Skeleton Spearmen. And here in the center, this is really the battle of battles, the fate of the battlefield here. The Ushabti Summon being used as a roadblock, Khalida and the Tomb Prince falling back. The Kroxigor Ancient was actually able to stabilize here, and he's got a spanking paddle and should be able to clear through a lot of these troops here. But Khalida's coming in once again for a counter charge with the Tomb Prince. Phos Protection being overcasted here, which is going to give melee defense and also some good armor to all these troops. But the Kroxigor Ancient, a very rarely used ability, the Miasma of Despair, lower speed, vigor, and leadership. The speed debuff could be relatively helpful there. Now here the Skeleton Spears are able to hold and honestly might be able to defeat these Kroxigors. You can see that the Screaming Skull Catapults are now being used to shoot at the Kroxigors. I think it looks like one of them was shooting there. In the back, the Nehekara Horsemen of Flying Taco are just riding back and forth, just trying to rampage and cause problems wherever they can in the back line. Also shutting down the firepower here of this Bastillodon is quite helpful. On this side, we can see this Laser Dino is being harassed as well by the Nehekara Horsemen, but the Kroxigors and the Laser Dino doing a pretty good job fending those guys off. This is a really close battle for sure, but my concern here for the Tomb Kings is that when these catapults kind of get encroached on, it's going to be a rough situation. But the Laser Dino was able to finish off all 3 catapults in this unit here. The Bone Giant lining up his last cannon and is able to take out one of the Kroxigors there. Net of Amnichok being used as well. So not only are they a stationary target for the Bone Giant, but the spears are also going to be able to catch up. Here in the center fight, though, it's quite a pitched battle. The Tomb Prince and Khalida fighting tooth and nail and actually seem to be winning. You can see the Kroxigor Ancient is very, very damaged. Khalida getting in there under Sneaky Snake and really doing a lot of work. I mean, she's a very good duelist, actually, which is why she's a weird character, because she's kind of like designed to support ranged characters, but then she's so good in melee combat for the cost. She's really, really cheap. And you can see here the blasting attacks also from the Screaming Skull Catapults are really helping to win this, because all these units here are being afflicted by a leadership penalty, even from the splash damage. So the Kroxigor Ancient is broken, and Taco's Khalida coming in and shattering the Kroxigor Ancient. 94 HP, down he goes to High Queen Khalida. Man, what an awesome build. So here you can see the Tomb Prince is able to help finish off the Kroxigors with a little bit of spear support. The first of the Screaming Skull Catapults is going to be falling here to the Red-Crested Skinks. Granted, it's just the crew. The catapult pieces were already gone, so it's not really a big loss. And Khalida is able to win that center mass engagement. That was crazy. Using the AoE damage from the Screaming Meme Catapults to blast in there and really tank the leadership of that entire Lizardman fight. Here we have some Kroxigors fighting as well, but they're taking Bone Giant shafts to the face. Negative 29 leadership. Khalida, as well as the Lich Priest, able to get in there and break those guys. And I think this is kind of a portent of doom here for the for the Lizards. They do have their laser dino shooting, but the Tomb Prince is eventually going to catch them. Taco does also have a ton of mobile elements in the form here of Nehekar Horsemen that can chase these guys down. He has Nehekar Horsemen in the distance, making sure things aren't coming back. Just showing how much of a veteran he is in multiplayer. Taco, an absolute beast. And again, like I said, just defeating Telexon Soothsayer yesterday in the ECL round of 8. Tomb Prince coming in, chasing down these Crocsgores, but that's not to say the dinos aren't putting up a great fight. Aneurysm Sauce is playing a super good game for sure. I mean, there's good micro on both sides. The Laser Dino here is back online, and honestly, if he could blast Kalita, maybe that would give the dinos a way back in the game. There's a lot of Crocsgores breaking. And the Bone Giant is probably running out of ammo, as are the catapults. So suddenly there's going to be a substantial portion of this army which is out of ammo and isn't terribly useful. But Kalita still rampaging is not good. She's basically just riding about, dealing with the Crocsgores, making sure they don't come back. The Bone Giant also putting a little bit of hurt. And the Bone Giant itself is a big terror-causing giant basically as well. It still has 400 weapon strike, so the Giant coming in will be a significant factor as well. So the Bastiladon with the Solar Engine fighting here. Lich Priest coming for the Duel of Duels, and it looks like the little skink is casting perhaps a Wind Blast somewhere or a Thunderbolt. Oh, he's trying to nuke Kalita with the Thunderbolt, but it looks like it takes out a Crocsgore instead, which is unfortunate there, but he tried his best, that's for sure. And the Lizards pretty much in mass exodus now. They have a couple skinks. Man, what a well-played battle. That was a really good scrap, and I love the skink army with the Crocsgore Ancient. That was really, really cool. And a fun battle to watch. And down goes the Bastiladon. Taco coming in with that Kalita play. Able to use the Blade of Satep and the anti-large plus AP capabilities from Kalita to finish off this dino. You can see she's doing her thing. Army losses there. Well played to both players. What a scrap. What a scrap. There you have it, my friends. Taco shall remain the king of the hill. Will his reign endure? We will find out. So well played to those two players. All right. So we have Flying Taco up to 3 now. And we have... the current leader is him. And next we have on our list, we have the Undertaker. From Poland. You're up. And he's on the way. Undertaker, of course, on the last King of the Hill, was able to have a really legendary win with the Dwarves against the Beastmen, like a super hard matchup, and he actually beat a really good player with them. It was pretty crazy. GG, well played. That was a really good game. Man, that was a fun one to watch. It was like long, it was back and forth. And let us go ahead here and find another map that we could use. That's a not commonly used map, if possible. We could do the Kelp and Coal Dust. That's a really strange map, but it's also quite fun. We'll do that one. The Kelp and Coal Dust. I'm broadening my horizons, my friends. Using new maps. Where art thou? It's up here somewhere. We'll find it in a moment. Hey, it is time. So the king picks 3 factions. Challenger bans 1 and picks, so I'm sure Gromby will find a way to play his dwarves somehow. For any dwarf fans in chat, raise those beards. We have a donation coming in from Katsuki. Thank you so much for the $3, man. He says, hey, Turin, wish you and Lady Turin a nice weekend. Thank you, man. Hope you have a nice weekend as well. And he says, by the way, I'm looking for a tournament faction that has a decent matchup into Skaven and Dinos. What would you recommend? Greeting from the Germans. That has a good matchup with Skaven and Dinosaurs. Vampire Coast, honestly. Vampire Coast, I think, has a good matchup versus Dinos. Actually, who's really good there? So either Vampire Coast or Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings are good against Skaven and against Dinos. And also on top of that, you can go with Vampire Coast, which I think trade pretty well with Skaven and also against Dinos. So those are some good suggestions for sure. You know who's actually really good in both those matchups? No, actually, that's not true. Yeah, those would be my suggestions, Kowski. And they're both really fun factions to play, too. Satisfy the grudge! Sorry, I missed your donation. It was probably during the game. But hopefully that answers your question. All right, so we have this. So we saw this the other day. We saw Grombrindle actually defeat Anticity, who ended up winning the King of the Hill, with the Dwarves into the Beastmen. So he's picking Carrick Kadrin, the Slayer Kings faction, and he's going to be facing off against Flying Taco, who's probably one of the best Beastmen players out there. So if Grombrindle can win this, it's a horrible matchup for the Dwarves, in my opinion. But, I mean, he has won in the past against good players. We'll see if he can have that repeat success, but Taco certainly is not going to hold any punches. Darko says, I feel cursed. I drink whole cups of coffee, yet only refreshed for a few minutes, and it's like I didn't even drink it. You know, Darko, I stopped drinking coffee completely, and it's horrible. I miss it like every day, but Like my energy levels are pretty good. Like my sleep schedule is like more natural. I felt like it was pretty good. Well, he can't bring Grombrindle. He's playing a sub faction. Yeah. So his only legendary lord choice is Ungrim, because he's playing a sub faction. Like he's basically punishing himself for your guys' entertainment. He just wants to have the cool color scheme of Karak Kadrin. Brother DeVoe, he says, sorry if I mangled the last name, by the way. I'm trying. Or the name. Who can peasant mobs beat 1v1? Skaven slaves, goblins. Oh, so they can't beat goblins, and they probably won't beat zombies because of the fear. I don't know. Peasant mobs versus Skaven slaves? I think Skaven slaves win that because their melee defense is like 24. I don't know, actually. I think Skaven slaves probably win that. I don't know if peasant mobs win any of those engagements. Yeah, this matchup got better for sure with Gotrek and Felix. So what we saw Grombrindle win with the other day is he brought like his entire army was like Longbeards with great weapons. And then from there he had a couple characters. He had like Altar's Raiders, some Bugman's Rangers, and one Thunder or Trollhammer Torpedo. I can't remember. And he was able to just like, the Beastmen washed upon the Dwarven Wall of Steel. It was pretty great. So we're loading in here, Flying Taco versus Gromby. See how this goes. Taco, the current King of the Hill, setting a pretty high precedent. He's got 3 wins, so it's going to be hard for somebody to pass that. I think like in the past couple months, since we've been doing King of the Hills again, I think the best like King of the Hill record has been like 4 or 5. Back in the day, of course, we had some really crazy runs. We from Aerocrastic and Falcon. I think they were like 8 and 9 or 9 and 10. I think it was 9. We saw Arrow, and then I think Falcon pretty much did the same thing. So yeah, we've seen some runs, but lately it's been like, it just, I think it goes to show that the multiplayer community has become much more diverse and like more people are starting to play. Like I've seen, at least alone in my own Discord here that we run, that, you know, people are practicing a lot and there's a lot of good players coming up, which is great. So it's like, it's leveling the playing field, which I think is really awesome. Yep. It's Karak Kadrin. You take the Slayer Oath. Yeah, I think he had a single cannon as well. I think he had a single cannon. And somebody wanted to see Slayers charging, so here you go, bud. Yeah, I like this. I like that Taco brought a Cygor. It's really good. Cygors can certainly force the... This is actually somewhat similar to the build we saw from Anticity. Although Anticity didn't bring a natural Cygor. He did bring Malagor, I think, and was able to summon some Cygors. And yeah, we've seen Taco in a lot of matchups summoning Cygors in the melee fight as like a giant unit, which is really, really strong for sure. So basically here, we're going to see 3 Cygors. Now, this is the same build more or less that Grombrindle brought and was able to defeat a very good Beastman player with before. So in the front, it's Longbeards. He's got Gotrek. He does also have the Slayer King, so 2 heavy hitters there for sure. Both are unbreakable, so you're really going to have to work through those guys. He's got Miners here. He does have Slayers in the back. Giant Slayers, actually, interesting. So he does have the Giant Slayers with the extra AP. I wonder if he brings Giant Slayers as like kind of a secondary backup option against Bestigors, because their AP values and melee attack are really good. And they can cut through Bestigors pretty quick, actually. They'll take damage of their own, but pretty cool. So he's got 2 Trollhammers. He did change the build, I think, last time he brought the Althar's Raiders, but it's pretty similar for the most part. No cannon, and it's actually a mobile dwarf build, so he can like move out. He doesn't have to sit in Turtle, which I think Flying Taco might be expecting. Now, for the forces of Taco, he's got a couple of Raiders up here on the high ground, which certainly pretty good at shooting Slayers. He's got 3 Bestigors, which is pretty much always standard. Minotaurs here with no shields, so just going totally cheapo on those guys. Malagor, the Dark Omen Raiders, he does have the Eye of Morsleep, which is going to be really good. And you can see Taco with very good deployment. Knowing the Dwarves would probably like caddy over here and not want to be in the open, he put the Cygor on the other side, which means he can basically just get a bunch of long bombs here on the Longbeards and other troops like that. It's really good. Good stuff for both players. Good luck, have fun. Let's see if the Dwarven champion Grombrindle, of course, in many of our streams, playing and making the Dawi proud, is able to defeat the forces of the Beastmen. Getting through the stream pretty quick, guys. Might be able to go into the reserved list, but we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Probably should stretch my hands and do all that stuff in between the games here. Been a little bit lackadaisical about that. So Dwarves are moving forward. Obviously, the first of the boulders is going to be coming in. That Cygor has another 24 boulders to throw, it looks like, which is very unfortunate here for these Longbeards, as they're a pretty valuable unit. Longbeards with great weapons aren't cheap. They cost, I think, around 800 or 850 or something in that ballpark. So, yeah, not cheap. So every boulder here definitely counts for a lot. And you can see that next boulder here is going to be a miss. Grombrindle was able to juke that, those Dwarven legs pumping and able to dodge some of those shots. And it looks like he's opting to go up and around. So he's going to go like up and over here and try and take the Beastmen here. Because if he can force the fight in this choke here, it's actually really good for the Dwarves. It means he can kind of corral the Beastmen herd, keep them in check, and make sure that things don't get too crazy. Another boulder coming in. It does clip the heels here and take out 3 of the Iron Drakes. That's pretty good value for sure. Any models you can take out on Iron Drakes is very, very important. Those guys are absolute beast mode. So the Dao will be going for a bit of a circuitous route here. Going to be going through, and they honestly engaging here in the center wouldn't be bad either. Really it keeps the Beastmen in check. But it looks like he wants to fight towards the edge of the map, which maybe he's doing because if he's able to fight there, he can break the Beastmen forces near the edge of the map, and then they'll run off because, again, they have worse leadership. The Beastmen ambush in full effect, though. In the back, you can see Ungors from Flying Taco. He really plays the Beastmen as they should be played. Like, he plays like a Beastman here, right? Like, ambushes from every angle, sneaky raiders up on the high ground, just all sorts of stuff like that. So the Dwarves taking a bit of a hammering, for sure, out of the gates. Oh, man. The Grumbling Guard lost a couple models there, but not too much. That Cygor is proving to just be an absolute world beater here in this situation. So Gottschalk's he's not taking any shit. He's going in. He's like, I want to whet this axe. This is a true Slayer play. Just charging in and not caring for the rest of the army to arrive. Slayers usually charge to their doom in battles, which is pretty hilarious. So charging in here, going in. As a matter of fact, I was reading the Masters of Stone and Steel, and there's a scene where like the Dwarven army is about to fight a legion of Chaos Dwarves and Warriors of Chaos, and like the Dwarven army, basically the Slayers just charge in first, completely unsupported, and just like fight to the bitter end against like the Chaos army. I'm like, ooh, no, maybe not the best idea. Nonetheless, though, Ungrim and Gotrek putting some serious hurt on these Bestigors, and these Bestigors are going to get taken out really quick. The Grumbling Guard will be able to do really well against them, and also having these 2 legendary warriors sitting on top of the back of them, you can see that the Bestigors are going down really, really quickly here. Also, some of the elite troops, the Giant Slayers have piled in as well. In the back, we have Longbeards from Grombrindle, which are being kited out, and a Cygor summon has been used with a really nice angle here. I think he needs to send some like miners over here to kind of peel, because you can see that the Trollhammer Torpedoes are being pushed back now. In the forest, we do have Giant Slayers fighting Bestigors, which I wonder who will win that. It looks like the Giant Slayers took some damage. Oh no! A huge Vile Tide really punishing the blob here of Grombrindle. Granted, the Bestigors are 100% broken, as are these Ungors. They'll be breaking in a moment here. The Beastmen are being forced back. Granted, bounce power is very massively in the favor of the Beastmen, but again, that's largely due to the fact that the Cygor has been summoned. But, honestly, aside from that, many aspects in the battle are going much better for the Beastmen. The Trollhammer Torpedoes being tied down in combat is very punishing, and the Beastmen are just like rotating and just being very, very tricky. This is like how Beastmen would actually fight. They would just be like treacherous and coming out of the trees and looping around and luring you into the traps and things like that, which I think is quite cool. Nonetheless, Ungors here are taken out. I mean, this is a kind of an unfortunate trade too. The Giant Slayers might still win this. I don't know. It's hard to say, but losing a very expensive unit here, I mean, I guess if it kills the Bestigors, it pays for itself. Now the Dwarves are advancing on. There's still these 2 unbreakable units, and the Cygor summon is temporary. It will be disappearing here soon. Malagor the Dark Omen basically running for his life. It looks like he may have taken some Trollhammer Torpedoes to the face, but Gotrek taking some Raider fire, which is not good for him. He's basically 0 armor, and I think has very basic missile resist. Trollhammer Torpedoes are rotating as well, going to be trying to get up into the tree line here. And Ungrim has gotten into combat here versus the Bestigor herds. Should put some hurt on those guys, and the Great Weapons will help. And yeah, these 3 units can probably take out another unit of Bestigors. The Cygor summon is gone. It's down for the count. The Dwarves have taken over the high ground position, and now we have Minotaurs in the back coming in. Gromby reacts pretty quick, though. He is able to get the Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer Torpedoes, and ooh, that's going to be a ripping volley into those guys. Brutal damage here on the Minotaurs, down to almost half health. And if they eat one more volley, that's going to be game blouses for those Minotaurs. I think they'll be going into the can pretty quick here. As the Trollhammer Torpedoes are reloading, they have a really long reload time. It takes, forever. Up in the high ground here, you can see some of these Longbeards are chasing off the remnants of those Bestigors. And the Minotaurs taking a lot of shots. They are able to dodge some of those because they were on the move. But the Trollhammers are at least being combat effective here. One more group of the Bestigors is taken out, and it looks like the Cygor is got to be running a little bit low on ammo. But the thing is Flying Taco is 100% saving ammunition, or not ammo, but the cast, and he has another Cygor summon. And now he's doing it. He's been saving it the entire game to just try and break the back of the Dwarves here. So he does summon the Cygor here in the tree line, just beasts popping out from every angle. It looks like the Raiders are shooting into Gotrek, which is a really smart play. There's no Felix here, so there's no healing for this bad boy. Felix actually would have been pretty welcome here in this, based on the builds and everything. But yeah, I think Gotrek, he does have a self-heal too, so he could potentially heal up, kind of Tyrion style and be really punishing. The Cygor in the trees is causing problems, though. It's definitely causing some serious problems. Some of the Trollhammer Torpedoes here, I would imagine, are going to try and finish off these Minotaurs as they charge in. Going to rip some fat shots. Here they come. Shooting right into the face of those Minotaurs, doing How much damage? About 800 damage. Pretty good stuff. The miners are holding, but this flank's about to collapse, and the dwarves, do they have anything over here? Not really. So basically, these Iron Drakes are forfeit. Those guys are going to be paying the troll toll. The dwarves were able to finish off all the Ungors and pretty much all the Bestigors as well. Very, very tattered. And let's look on the far side. Who won that fight? So it looks like the Giant Slayers did lose that fight against the Bestigors. I think they had taken a couple Cygor boulders to the face before the fight, so that would kind of explain why they lost that so bad. And here, the Trollhammer Torpedo shooting in once again should be able to finish off these Minotaurs. It depends, though. If the Minotaurs can close the distance before another volley, maybe not. A full bull rush coming in, and here you can see the Iron Drakes falling back. This is not going to be fun for them. They are going to get tumbled by those fat Minotaurs right there. There are some Dwarven troops here, some Longbeards that can help. And I would imagine some Slayers and other troops here in the forest trying to figure out their lives, but for the most part, these guys causing a huge problem, and the Longbeards really not enjoying fighting Minotaurs. Minotaurs are like designed to kill these type of infantry, so... Ungrim and his host are coming over, the remnants of the Giant Slayers and the Grumbling Guard, and at least a lot of the Dwarven army that's left is unbreakable, so the Beastmen really are going to have to bunker bust this, but I think it shouldn't be a problem with the Cygor here, and also you can see he has a full health group of Bestigors back here, which is going to be a bit of a menace to deal with, but some of the Minotaurs are falling. The Slayers charging in and taking out these Minotaurs pretty horribly, actually. The Gotrek and his boys doing quite a bit of work. Now, this Cygor is about to run out of ammo. It has 3 volleys left. The other Cygor summon has disappeared. The Beastmen pretty much encroaching from all angles. But if these Minotaurs do break, they're probably going to break off the edge of the battlefield. Bestigors being sent in kind of waves to try and break what they can. And unfortunately for the Dwarves, they're probably going to get with army losses relatively soon. It's funny because it's still kind of scary here for the forces. A little bit of lag. Hopefully that subsides. It's still a little bit scary with, Ungrim and Gotrek here. I think Gotrek is still fighting. He is. Yeah, he's got about 1,300 HP. But, if the Dwarves, I don't know, is this winnable? I mean, okay, so Malagor is basically useless right now. He's basically used to Cygor summons. I don't know, with Eye of Morsleep still having boulders left and the full health Bestigors and a full health Minotaur over here, I don't think so. But the Dwarves are being very conservative, moving through the tree line, trying to stay away from the boulders where they can, looking to chase off some of these Beastmen troops up on the high ground. So this is a really fun game, actually. Viletide going down. It looks like it does take out a couple Giant Slayers as well as some of the Grumbling Guard, which are giving that Vigor buff. So you can see a lot of the Dwarves are actually in good shape, Vigor-wise. They're only winded, whereas the Beastmen are probably only tired, actually. So Beastmen, those hooves, paying huge dues. Slayers charging in, Trollhammer Torpedoes, nuking some of these Beastmen in the forest here. Some of these foul gray beasts are being shattered off and broken. And now we have the big old Cygor throwing his boulders in. Balance of Power is kind of normalizing a little bit. Not normalizing, but it is getting a little bit better for the Dwarves as the Cygor does run out of ammo. He has 2 volleys left, so hopefully for the sake of the Dawi, they don't hit army losses. But Taco, he's got a pretty nice little position here. Basically just use the Cygors, get the free value where you can, and then encroach with the Raiders once the time is right. Very Beastmen style of play. So Karakadrin, certainly on the ropes, but never counted out with the Slayer King and Gotrek here. If Gotrek were to get some really OP heals with his Fortitude ability, that could be quite nasty for sure. The Bray Herd being picked apart here in the tree line, but that's to be expected. Basically, they're just being used as sacrificial lambs to wear down the force. And now the Flying Taco is going to be coming in. There are going to be some Trollhammer Torpedoes squaring up their torpedo launchers here. Going to be shooting at the Minotaurs, and the Slayers will certainly be foaming at the mouth to fight some of those guys. Here we have Longbeards and Giant Slayers engaging against the remnants here of the Bestigors, which probably will win that engagement. Raiders are coming in as well. Raiders probably will start focusing down Gotrek because he's a very choice target. Ungrim is a very heavily armored Slayer. He has 120 armor, so he doesn't need to worry too much about that. So basically, it looks like Gromrindal is going to be pulling the Slayer King over here to try and fend off these Bestigors, and he will be able to, for sure. Or at least put a big dent in them. And Gotrek is going to be kind of holding up this flank. So now the Beastmen are advancing. A classic Dwarven last stand. Outnumbered, for sure, and in this case, outgunned by a bunch of Raiders. Raiders are actually a really good choice against Dwarves. It might not seem like it on paper, but they're really good against Slayers and things like that, like Dragonback Slayers. And also seems to be doing a ton of damage to Gotrek, who's trying to hide in the trees to the best of his ability. He certainly doesn't like this style of combat. Gotrek is going to want to get in melee here with the Bestigors, and now we have the final battle. Dwarves, unfortunately, are going to get hit with army losses pretty soon. Trollhammer Torpedoes ripping a couple shots before they go to the Bestigors, a couple of them exploding into mist here. But, Gotrek's very low. A boulder coming down. He does have the Rune Axe of Gotrek, and also Gotrek's Doom, which is going to give him a huge ward save. And honestly, he's holding pretty well here. But here comes the final onslaught of the Beastmen. If Gotrek and the Slayer King can win this fight somehow, that would that would be pretty insane. I don't think so, though. I think finally these two Slayers are going to beat their doom at the hand of a very solid opponent here in the form of Flying Taco. I wonder what the heal would do, though. If Gotrek got that fat heal. Let's see if he gets it. So he's down to 300. If he gets the heal, it's going to be now. He got a little bit of a heal there, but nothing substantial. He healed up 100 HP, and then he got stomped on by the Cygor. And now we have the Slayer King making his valiant last stand, but fully surrounded by a ton of AP units is not going to be a good recipe for success for him. So GG, well played. Say both players. That was a great game. The Slayer King going in hard with the Axe of Dargo and actually doing massive damage here to the Eye of Morsleep. Might be able to chip this thing down a couple notches before he goes out. 892 here. Fully surrounded. His melee defense sacrificed by the Red Ruin, which is pretty badass for sure. But yeah, 367. Warp Gaze is activated so he can't run if he wants to. And the Beastmen are able to win the fight. Flying Taco continues his reign. That was a very well played game. Despite, Grombrindle really being on the ropes the whole time, he really scrapped well. Put up a great fight, I must say. Certainly making the ancestors proud. Despite, the fact the dwarves did lose the battle, it was a very honorable defeat there by the mighty Grombrindle. He did a great job, as did Flying Taco. Taco's ambushes are just so good. He literally, it's like in the mind of Khazrax, in the lore, just like ambushing. It's so good. All right, there you have it, guys. That is a grudgeon. It's okay. Dwarves just have another grudge now. They're happy about this. So next, guys, we have Random Nix, another Polish player, if I'm not mistaken. You're up. Random Nix cometh. After this, we have Apostate Prostate, Guac, Wicked D, Zyphos, Protocol Wired, and then, of course, we have a list of players on the reserve list that we may get to. But we will see. Thanks again, guys, for joining. It's been fun. Yeah, Ungrim's not bad. He's unbreakable, too, which is cool. So he doesn't get terror routed and things and whatnot. There's a really strong Taco flying through the opposition. There is. Quite a potent and powerful Taco, indeed. All right, so Random Nix is coming. Well played to those two players. Probably discussing the game in post. And now we'll go back to the... let's find another map I don't normally use to try and keep it interesting and fresh for you guys. The Ember Glades. I try and avoid Druchii maps the best I can. The Spite Reach, Southern Chaos Wastes, Plain of Spiders. Let's do... let's just do... I do that one all the time. Let's do the Mortis Wastes. Let's see what that looks like. Mortis Wastes. Now, Random Nix always likes to play with Bretonia. So we'll see what he brings. Is it the Mortis Wastes or is it just Mortis Wastes? I can't remember. Hey. Random Nick says, I heard there's a grudge to be settled here. All right. Let's do it to it. So King picks 3, Challenger bans 1, and King picks 1, and then we go deep from there. So we have a donation I did miss during the game. My apologies, Michael A. He said, I'd like to donate a bit more for better cameras and 40K bat reps. Is there a way to donate without third-party cuts? You could message me in Discord, Michael, if you're not there. That would be the best way. But the thing is, my camera's actually pretty good. It's not like the quality's bad. Are you saying like more angles and things like that? But nonetheless, Michael, I will drop a link to Discord and we can talk about it there. So thank you so much for the donation, by the way. That's very, very generous, man. But yeah, the reason why there's not been more 40K battle reports is because of all this, like, virus stuff that's been going on. Like, people are not as willing to kind of go out, and it's been harder to get people to come over and play. So in due time. And then we have a donation coming in from Chris Jensen. First time catching a live stream, so making up for lost time. Thank you so much for the Fat 50. Great content. How likely is more Warcraft 3 gamecasts? Yeah, I have one coming up, actually. I recorded a battle the other day that was really good. So that'll be going up sometime this week. So Chris Jensen, thank you so much for the donation. And on that note, let me go ahead and get you guys a Discord link. So this is for the multiplayer Discord, so I'll just kind of link you guys this for now. Let me make sure it's the right one. Yes, it is. So you can message me here regarding the camera stuff, my friend. Yeah, I'll get more close-ups and zooms. I can do that on my existing camera, though. Yeah. And again, thank you so much, Chris. That's very generous. All of you guys, thank you. We're going in hard. We're going to be doing more streams. You guys seem to enjoy it? Yeah. And okay, so Flying Taco is going to pick Beastmen, Dark Elves, and Skaven. Switching it up. Clearly, he has a very good roster of play. And Random Nix now is on the pick. So he gets to ban 1. And what's really unfortunate, though, is Random Nix sounds like he wanted to play Dwarves, but if he bans, they're all good against Dwarves. Every one of those. Probably the best matchup for Dwarves amongst those is Dark Elves. Because, Dwarves have some builds that can beat Dark Elves for sure. But Beastmen and Skaven, it's yeah, he's going with Coast. Okay, so he's going to go Coast, and he gets a ban here. I would probably honestly ban the Beastmen here. Taco has some really good Beastmen play against Coast. Yeah, that's smart. So he does ban Beastmen. And now that leaves Dark Elves. Dark Elves have like a good matchup with Coast. It's a fun one. So does Skaven. I think they're pretty even. So now you can see Taco's like having to think about it, which is good. Yeah, I would love to do a battle report with Spartacus. I've asked him, but he usually doesn't seem interested in it right now. Yeah. That was my original plan, you know, to do a bunch of battle reports with him, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to play until his army's painted or something. Who knows? All right. All right, so it should show up here in a second. So let's see. Angry Centrifuge Bobby. Do Streamlab donations show up on stream? They do. And I'm looking right now. I see Chris, I see Michael A, and I see Brother DeVoe. Oh, and there you go, Angry Centrifuge. Sorry, I missed that one. It did show up. It was just pushed down. So Angry Centrifuge sent $10. He says, really have been enjoying your streams and basically all content the last months. Raise the beards and the beers. You know, I've been craving beer lately. I don't know why. I never used to like drinking it, but now like I'm sitting at dinner and I'm like, just like thinking about it. Angry Centrifuge, thank you so much, man. It did show up, don't you worry. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. But my belly's already getting like... So when I first started YouTube, as far as my physique goes, I was in pretty good shape. I was toned. I was doing jujitsu. You know, I was more fit. But my hand has also gotten worse, so I had to quit jujitsu. But I was so fit. Now I like look at myself in the mirror sometimes. And the worst time to catch yourself is a profile. Like when you're walking and you look sideways into the mirror and you see the full profile. That's really the damning look. So, okay, we have Skaven versus Coast. I really like this matchup. It's really fun. It's a really, really fun one. We are in the Mortis Waste, so we'll see how this goes. All right. My mom is a lady, yes. Deacon, I mean, but who cares? It's just like you know, but I still haven't had the beer though. I haven't done it. It's the Jawi in me to have a big old stein. But yeah, you know, the thing is like I don't like. I love playing 40K. There's a guy I play with all the time named Danny, and he beats me almost every time. But like, I just like playing and hanging out with the guy. He's a really good guy. So it's like, you know, I don't know. Even if like, yeah, who knows? Who knows? Good old Gitsnick. Welcome, guys, to the Discord. If you're not here before, it's good to have you. Just read the rules, of course. All that good stuff. Yeah, you know, I really... If I ever get to go to the UK again, I want to go to Nottingham and go to the Bugman's Brewery, like the bar. I know it's probably just like not that the beer is just average, but like I still want to try it. Hang on, guys. I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back. I return. Turin has to do 10 push-ups after every match. Oh, I could do that for sure. But it's just, the problem is push-ups hurt my wrist. It hurts my flexor, like my wrist problem now. It's gotten worse. I used to do push-ups every day. Like, that was my main workout. Nico McKee says, Turin, great content. Thanks for everything. Much excite, man. Right, excited right back, man. Dave Fayrem? Yeah, but Dave, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was like 27, and now I'm 31. But it's mainly my wrist problem, honestly. Like, I can't do a lot of the exercises I used to do. Yeah. Players are ready. Let's load in. Oh, but yeah, I used to have a routine of doing, it wasn't like super extreme, but I would do 100 push-ups a day. Like, that was like my core, and then I would run 2 miles a day. That was like just... And when I wasn't hitting the gym or doing anything, that was my go. I wouldn't do 100 push-ups in a go. I would just do like 20 here, and then later in the day I'd do like another 20 or 30, and then like 20. And honestly, that kept me like pretty good. Like the 2 mile run a day plus that. Obviously, when I was doing like sports and things like that, it was much more extreme. Because I ran track in college and played football for 7 years and all that. But that was like a good baseline. But, you know, of course, my wrist problem in my labral tear came from doing pull-ups. So that stuff's like really hard on me now. I can't really do that anymore, unfortunately. Maybe after I get surgery and go through all the rehab and stuff. All right, guys. Enough. It is time. We have Vampire Coast, who shall be led by Random Nyx, trying to usurp the king. Taco, a very dominant king today. I'm trying to think of an analogy of that, but pretty much everyone in Game of Thrones just gets karate chopped at some point or another. So Taco, holding pretty firm. But for the forces of Vampire Coast, certainly some very competitive elements here in his army. He does have double cannon. It's a huge map too, so the cannons are very cost effective here. Front line is going to be deckhand mobs, including the Tide of Skuld. He does have some Sirens as well, which I like. Having like one Siren as like a mobile terror-causing unit I think is really good. On top of that, he's got gunnery mobs in the back, which are cost effective against like ogres and plague monks and things like that, and are just dirt cheap. A couple bombers as well, and the Shade Wraith gunners, which are a very, very cool unit. Granted, if the Skaven have any of the mortars, like the Poison Wind mortars, they just get wrecked really hard. Up in the sky, a couple deck droppers, Luther Harkin, and a Vampire Caster as well. Solid army. Really has some teeth, I think. I like it quite a bit. Now, for the forces of Flying Taco, he's going with like a Clan Eshin build. I was actually expecting more of an infantry rush or something like that, but he's got an Eshin build of sorts. So here you can see gutter runners encircling the map, which are, you know, pretty annoying to deal with for Vampire Coast without scurvy dogs and things like that. Even still, scurvy dogs have a problem with them. We do have Skaven slaves. We have Lord Skrulk here. We have an assassin as well. Skrulk definitely needs to be careful. Luther is going to be coming for that booty for sure. In the back, we have Skaven slave slingers, rat ogres, and it looks like we do have Ixchis triads and two groups of Eshin triads on the flanks. Now, the reason why he does this is against Morngul's. Eshin triads actually trade pretty effectively with Morngul's and also are very good against rotting Prometheans and things like that because they have good AP values and also armor sundering. So the armor sundering has a cool synergy with the gutter runners. You can like lower the armor of these things down very low, and the gutter runners with their shurikens can actually do some good damage. Now, a couple spots in the army, he's got to be really careful. Again, Skrulk is a choice target to snipe. It seems like this Skaven build is partially designed against the Vampire Coast rush, like a Morngul rush. So we'll see how it performs against the cannons. I could be completely wrong, but again, we'll see. The gutter runners are really good against Morngul rushes and against like scurvy dog pressure. The Skaven army doesn't have too many sensitive spots aside from its lords. Like, you know, I mean, and you have to do that. You don't have a choice there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And these are Carronades. The Carronades, I would imagine, what will they target? I would shoot the ogres probably in the beginning. You could try and goon Skrulk, but he's a bit of a hard target. Although I guess any damage you can get on Skrulk is pretty good. Yeah, you could try and goon Skrulk with your cannons and then from there just like, you know, harass with Luther. But if Luther gets a little bit too crazy, he'll get hit with Lieber. He'll get hit with all the gutter runner poison damage. Well, these are actually night runners, so he's got a combination of gutter runners and night runners, opting not to bring poison. So the cannon shooting into the night runners initially, taking out 10 of those rats, which isn't bad. Certainly not bad at all, and it looks like Luther Harkin did take a little bit of poke coming in here, but of course he is a vampire, so he's going to be healing up, doing his vampire thing. I would imagine Luther is going to want to fall back and not take too much damage there from those gutter runners. I actually like this map. I think it's a pretty cool map. It's big, it's flat, and it also looks pretty cool. So cannon shooting in. Oh, you know what? I think Luther might have taken friendly fire from one of the cannons. Hard to say. Shade Wraith gunners are now shooting in, and they're going to be tearing into some of these rat boys and doing a couple hundred damage. Luther may jump in and just try and break them because they are already taking a penalty on their leadership. Yeah, and Luther's might jump in and just try and break down those gutter runners, which, you know, isn't a terrible idea. Now, Random Nyx needs to be really careful. If he lets his deck droppers just get killed for free by these rats here, by these night runners and gutter runners, that's going to be a pretty disastrous situation. Now, Shade Wraith gunners and Luther were able to break those gutter runners. So nice little initial poke there. The Vampire Coast, of course, in a very defensive posture. On this flank, they are using the zombie pirate gunnery mobs to force back the night runners. So far, Random Nyx seems to be in a pretty good position here. But again, the Skaven main force hasn't really arrived here. When the summons start coming in from Skrulk and different things like that, that's when it gets real. But nonetheless, Random Nyx needs to be really careful not to lose these gutter runners. They're a very valuable asset against rat ogres and Eshin triads and things like that. So pulling them back and just getting them behind your army, I think, is the right choice, and using them in more of a defensive posture. In the meantime here, you can see some Death Runners from Flying Taco are screaming around the back, and if they're able to get onto the mortars, that'll be quite good. But I think that Random Nyx is kind of privy to this. He does, of course, have the Sirens back here, which will be able to deal with the Death Runners most likely. So Deck Dropper shooting in once again. It looks like they're opting to sit and fight using the support they have from the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs to deal with some of the Gutter Runners. Now the Rat main line is going to be here in a second. And the cannons, what are they shooting? It looks like the cannons are shooting the Rat Ogres on the far side, as are the Shade Wraith Gunners. And yeah, we got Big Papa coming in here. Luther Harkin is going to be coming to do battle here with the Ogres, but the Assassin is nearby, Skrulk is nearby. Definitely got to watch out for some Trophy Heads action. That could be quite destructive. So Deck Droppers are in good shape, forcing these guys back. But this is a pretty important engagement here. Luther does not want to take too much free damage. Rival High Talisman and Assassin's Trophy is down. Luther has 0 melee attack right now. This is the time to pull out. Bombers are coming in though. Bombers will do some good damage against Clan Rats and all the Triad chaff. And now Luther is going to be pulling back. His Lieber is cast on him. That is a very scary situation. So in the meantime, Death Runners on the far side are being used to pick off the Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob Bombers, which is pretty good usage. They were able to avoid the bombs. Shade Wraith Gunners still shooting in quite happily, and Sirens are roadblocking. Now, the Vampire Caster might have to come back here. If he loses these cannons, that is going to be a huge problem. In the meantime, though, Luther Harkin is up in the sky. A nice breath attack coming in, able to hit those ogres. And this is a really cost-effective tar pit, honestly. The deckhand mobs here are holding, but a rat summon from Skrulk is also quite strong. They can charge back towards the Carronade if they can, and there's not that much back there defending it. Maybe these deck droppers want to fall back and do that. We will find out on the next episode. But front line's holding pretty well. You can see there's not too much penetration here. Some of the Eshin Triads are able to sneak through, and these bad boys do have 54 speed. So this could be a real problem here. Granted, it looks like they're going to go after the bombers, or maybe their AI just kind of dropped there, but those Eshin Triads need to go back here and shut down these cannons. Shade Wraith Gunners, in the meantime, shooting into the Death Gunners, or Death Runners here. And I think the Sirens are still fighting. It looks like they are potentially getting some terror outs here on the Eshin Triads. Yeah, these Death Runners not having a good time. Also, a summon of Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs coming down, and those guys are going to put some hurt on those Death Runners as they approach. They got their pistols. Will they shoot before the Death Runners make contact? They will. Brutal volley coming in, and also the Discourage effect from the Shade Wraith Gunners should be kicking in just a moment, and the Death Runners are broken. So far the cannons are holding, and also here we do have the Vampire Fleet Captain. Luther and the Captain probably going to be used as a backline tool to try and sweep here and make sure that the cannons stay intact. Siren's doing a really good job actually tar pitting over there. Only 12 kills, but they're holding back like a lot of Skaven presence. So these Eshin Triads probably going to get terror routed, I would imagine, but the cool thing for Flying Taco is that these Eshin Triads are actually really good against both these units. They have anti-large, and you can see Luther and the Vampire here are taking a substantial amount of damage. So even if the rats break there, at least they are getting some decent value. Shade Wraith Gunner shooting in once again, trying to break off the Skaven rush. But the battle right now is currently Vampire Coast favored, in my opinion. But this is where the Skaven bring it back. If the Skaven are able to push in with their gutter runners, kill the cannons, it's basically going to be game over at that point, in my opinion. Like a lot of the army here for the coast that you're seeing reflected in the Bounce of Power is currently because of the Carronades, because of the Shade Wraith Gunners, all of which are about to be encroached on, and really big problems are coming. So Sirens are rotating back in. Sirens are going to be intercepting those ogres and causing some problems. And now a bit of an all-in here. It looks like Luther Harkin is going in for the Skrulk Man. There is an assassin nearby, and assassins are actually, even though they don't like actually have the bodyguard keyword or give the bodyguard buff, they're actually really good bodyguards. So Lieber going down, Assassin's Trophy going down on Luther, and Luther probably will be pulling back. One Carronade is pretty much 100% done. Shade Wraith Gunner still shooting, and the Sirens are coming in to sweep. If somehow Random Nix can kind of keep the other Carronade from going down, he is going to need that in the late game probably to deal with some of the skirmishing and mobile elements of the army. Otherwise, he's just going to be kited. So Summon a Plague Monk's coming down from the Taco Man. Very good stuff. I wonder if he's going to go after the Shade Wraith Gunners. He is. Some of these Eshin Triads were broken by the focus fire from the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs. Shade Wraith Gunners do have decent AP values, but it looks like they're shooting a little bit of friendly fire here into the Gutter Runners. But yeah, the cannon's already gone, actually. Completely shattered off. And Luther needs to make some plays, actually. I think the Skaven are starting to get in a bit of a stronger position here in this battle. It's a very, very close one. Absolute scrap. But again, when the back line gets compromised for Vampire Coast, that's when the bread starts to get buttered, as they say. So Shade Wraith Gunners taking some damage for sure. They are relatively tanky. They have that ghostly... they have the physical resist, but their HP pool is super low. So honestly, any pressure coming in... Skrulk does do magic damage too. So if this filthy rat is able to get over here and start beating on the Shade Wraith Gunners with his magical Pimp Cane, it's going to put him down. And that's really going to be reflected in the Bounce of Power. Now up in the sky though, Vampire Coast still has some really nasty sniping. They have Luther Harkin, they have deck droppers, although one deck dropper looks to be going down right now. So they have 14 deck droppers here, and the other unit probably is going to be able to snipe Skrulk. But there are Eshin Triads, there's Gutter Runners coming back in, we have some Sirens still here for the coast, and Bombers are actually in relatively good shape with some bombs left. I mean, the other one over here, not so much, but these guys can come back in and really, wreck the dreams and hopes here of these Eshin Triads if they're used correctly. The Assassin going in, but Luther is just going all in once again. I would imagine Invocation is still here, and Luther, of course, does have the Hunger, so he can heal up in combat. So even if he takes a little bit of damage, at that point, Luther can just fly around the battlefield and look for rats to kind of nibble on. And Skrulk is broken. Is he wavering or is he broken? He's broken. So Luther at this point, you want to finish off Skrulk. You want to just fly over Skrulk's head. Although honestly, maybe going after the Assassin isn't a terrible idea either. The Assassin will lose to Luther. I mean, the Assassin, Luther though is pretty beat up and Trophy Heads is on, but Invocation coming on will pretty much seal the doom there for that rat. And Skrulk is running for the hills. There's still a healthy Vampire Fleet Captain here. There's still some zombies, and the Bombers coming back in is going to be quite important. Man, these, pretty much every game we've had on today's stream, has been back and forth, really long, attrition-based battles that have been really, really good. So Luther is back up in the sky. Skrulk has come back, so the all-in attempt on the Assassin, of course, did not quite pay off there. I think maybe finishing off the Skrulk Man would be nice. He might have more summons, too, which is not good for the coast. So Luther flying overhead. Bombers are a little bit compromised here. We still have some zombie pirate gunnery mobs. And I think there was some wild sirens somewhere on the map. Where do we see those? Yeah. Those sirens on the far side are a huge difference maker. Like if they were back here right now, we'd probably be able to sweep up most of the Skaven force or at least get some terror routes going. Of course, Luther being nearby can cause terror as well. And the Vampire Fleet Admiral or Captain here is holding quite firm. Breath attack coming in and Skrulk takes a beating there. Down to 213. Negative 21 leadership and he is broken. Power siphoned as well. Skrulk running for the hills. What do the Skaven have left? They have some slingers, but Luther Harkin and his deck droppers look to be in a bit of a dominant position here. As you can see, these Night Runners are getting worn down as well by the Vampire Fleet Captain. This has been an 8-minute battle. Very, very close, back and forth one, but I think Vampire Coast is taking over. I think Luther Harkin's going to be able to goon the Assassin, especially with the help of this Vampire, who has put the taunt on the Rat, and the Assassin is going to probably just get terror routed here, I would imagine. There are some, Skaven chaff coming in, some Summon Clan Rats, but those guys are not an anchor upon which to anchor your boat. And that's going to be it. So Random Nix is going to usurp the king, taking him down. Taco, though, still with a really good run. 4 wins. That was a really back and forth battle. I mean, Vampire Coast was ahead for quite some time, but the Skaven getting into the back line was very, very powerful. That's for sure. All hail the rats. So well played. Random Nix and his merry bunch of pirates has come through and won. The current leader is going to be Taco, the new king of the hill. See, the curse of 4 is like the new thing. Like, nobody gets past 4 on these streams. Back in the day, it was like 8 and 9. Random Nix. Let's do that. And he is on the board with 1. Very well played indeed. And very well played indeed. The king is dead. Long live the king. I know. It was a good one, wasn't it, guys? So next, what do we have? We have Apostate? Prostate. Quite the name. All right. You're up. The next challenger cometh. All right. It was a good build for both players. Yeah, the Bombers certainly did some work. But again, most of it is against like Chaff and Skaven Slaves and things like that. So, the Curse of 4. I know. The Curse of 4 cometh. GG, well played. All right, so for the next map, we'll do let's do a little Alpine Ridge. All right. Oh, that's the Discord link. I need to King picks 3. King picks 3. Challenger bans 1 and picks. And there you go. Good luck, have fun. So we're getting pretty good into the stream here, guys. You know who's got a zombie pirate deckhand mods? The Devil and uses them for holding. When did Falcon last? Falcon hasn't played in too many King of the Hills. They usually start pretty late for him because he is in Russia. I need to start having them earlier in the morning. Also, it is first come, first serve in the Discord, so if you're not like looking, they fill up pretty quick. Because I want to give everybody an equal opportunity to play in these in the Discord. It's really fun. You get to see like a lot of new players who actually end up being really good. So as far as the rest of the list, we have Apostate, Prostate, we have Guac, Wicked D, Zyphos, and Protocol Wired. And then, of course, we have our reserve players. So we'll see how we're doing on time. And we'll go from there. So picks and bans are here. Alpine Ridge is set. Random Nix with a very, very good Vampire Coast showcase. A good play from both players. Random Nix is going to go Clan Rictus, Exiles of Nehek, and the Chevaliers, which is a Rapunzel's subfaction. So now, basically, we have to wait for Apostate to do his ban here. So he bans Bretonia, basically. And then it's either Clan Rictus or the Exiles of Nehek from Random Nix. None of them have unique units. They're basically just limiting factors. So I hope he goes Clan Rictus because I want to see Tretch, but Tretch is so bad. Oh my god. He's such a terrible lord. Yeah, so we'll see what they pick. We're on Alpine Ridge, which has that big ridge here in the middle. All right. The name is killing you. Yeah. Pit of Thorns is awful, yeah. Yeah, I've heard that map's pretty bad. I remember it. The upper echelon says Falcon and Zyphos are your favorite. Oh, well, Zyphos is playing today. It might be Rictus. Hey, Anraksha, take care, man. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. We'll see you around. All right, so he picks the greenskins. And then Random Nick says, sir, would you like to have a military alliance with me? All right, so it looks like it's going to be the Exiles of Nehek. And, that, honestly, that's competitive because Katep is super good against Greenskins. So, like, he's not going to be taking any penalties. So, good luck, have fun. Get the players here to do it to it. It's not going to be Clan Rictus. Yeah. I mean, Tretch is durable, but, like, he doesn't do anything. You just ignore him and save him for last. And his HP pool isn't even that good, so you can, like, Spirit Leech him and, like, focus fire him with missiles, and he's not tanky against those. So, yeah. It's a bit of an awkward dude. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't help either, which is, it's truly lore friendly. It's like, he just, like, lingers, and when things get bad, he just, runs away. Do we both win King of the Hill now? Well, it depends. It depends. So random Nyx against Apostate Prostate. The first WoB of the day, actually. The first Greenskin Horde. But unfortunately, they're put into a hard matchup. Tomb Kings have a very good matchup against Greenskins in my experience. That's just my main tournament factions. If I'm playing in a tournament are Greenskins, Tomb Kings, and Skaven. So with a sprinkle of Bretonia in some matchups here and there. I do like to use Empire against Skaven as well. So yeah, the first WoW of the day. Katep's probably going to be coming in. I would imagine there's going to be some caskets. The picks and bans, how did they work here? So the king picks 3 factions. His opponent bans 1 of the 3 and picks himself. Then the king picks from the remaining 2 factions. Yes. I don't think they need to nerf Tretch, no. Yeah, Tretch has pretty bad AP values too. So, like, even if he is fighting a big armored beast, he's just crappy usually because his AP damage sucks. Dov says, I had a Tretch vs. Kemmler game today. That must have been legendary, but the thing is, Kemmler is actually good. Like, Tretch is terrible, but Kemmler is, like, can summon Krell. He's, like, cheap. Krell won. Yeah, Krell beats down Tretch. I'm not surprised. Krell hits hard and has, like, good AP values and great melee attack and terror and, like, I don't think Tretch is immune to psychology, so he could be terror routed as well. It's just some terrible-ass Skaven character. He's probably... I think that Tretch is probably worse than Sigvald. Because Sigvald at least can heal himself. And has, like, a silver shield and is heavily armored. And has really good combat stats. Like, on both sides of both melee defense and attack. Maybe I should make an updated video, like, the worst of the worst in 2020 for Lords. Who would it be? Probably Tretch. Sigvald would be there for sure. Grimgor would be there. Yeah, is Tretch worse than Grimgor? I think he is. I don't know. We're really getting into some deep philosophical talk now. What's up, Felcon? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well, brother. We're doing it. Flying Taco had a really good run. And then a really, really good run. So he's going to be a tough one to crack for sure. Someone's going to have to win 5. Which is a steep order. It's a tall order for sure. All right. It's possible, though. It's possible. We've seen you do it before, Falcon. All right. So the battle's here. The Greenskin Wa arrives. We have the glorious Night Goblin Warboss riding on his proud squig. Oh, my God. Imagine riding on a squig like that. It's such an absurd thing. So for the Greenskin Wa, who shall be led by Apostate Prostate, he's got some Black Orcs. A bit of a mixed-matched army, for sure. He's got a little bit of everything. For the front line, he's going to be sending in the ROR Goblins to take a beating for Gork and Mork. He has Orc Biggins, some Black Orcs, some Pigs in the back, a Light Archer play, a Goblin Rocklobber, and it looks like a Giant and a Arachnok Spider. Very interesting army for sure. For his caster, he's got a Night Goblin Shaman with the Vindictive Glare, Itchy Nuisance, and the Night Shroud, or whatever that's called. Having the Rocklobber is a bit of a funny thing because, if the Tomb Kings don't have any artillery, it does force them over the hill, but I don't think that random Nyx is going to care much to move. He does have the casket. He's got DJ Katep, so he's just going to sit here, and the casket is going to kill the Rocklobber, and then from there, it's going to force the Greenskins over the hill into this brutal wall of Tomb Kings. So we have spears, the Kepler Guard, Tomb Scorpion, Triple Ushapti. Looks like a couple spears here as well. 2 Skeleton Archers, including the Blessed Legion of Demonetization, and also a couple groups of Nehekara Horsemen, which are really good. They can really trade efficiently versus most Greenskin Cav units, like even against the Pigs. And up in the sky, we have a couple of Carrion, and that is it. So honestly, it's a really good Tomb King's army. Kotep's really nasty because I'll show you why. So Kotep has an item for anyone who's new to the game. So if your friend plays Greenskins, you really want to piss him off, use this. The Lich Staff. So whenever he casts a spell, at any point, it adds 15 seconds to all abilities on the Greenskin character. So basically, you cast a spell, and you can't use your Wa in the beginning of the battle, which is very painful for the Greenskins. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I feel like Wa should be made into like an army ability or something, kind of like the Ushapti summon on the side. It's kind of silly that like it just gets nullified so easily by these things. Anyways, the battle will be underway soon. The Greenskin Wa will pile over the hill. The Carrion, I feel like this Greenskin army is just going to get crumped. Granted, it does have the Giant and the Spider, both of which are pretty good against most of the things we see here. So those are really going to be the saving graces. Granted, the Skeleton Archers can kill the Giant. The Arachnarok Spider, I suppose, is the big thing, but there's not a lot to defend the back line, and Random Nyx has Carrion in the distance, kind of lurking in the shadows as well, so the Carrion can come in and sweep things up for sure and cause a lot of problems. So the battle's underway. Neither player can see one another. Perhaps the Tomb Kings... actually, the Carrion will give line of sight. So when the Carrion come in, yeah, the Casket is now shooting. So Casket's going to go after Black Orcs, which is smart. Definitely doing that. And the Lich Staff has been activated, so the Wa can't be used now for the Greenskins until it recharges in combat. So that means the Night Goblin War Boss basically has to get in combat. And he has to fight for, 15 seconds before the Wa can be used. And he's not like a super tanky character, for sure. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous getting him in early combat. Casket still shooting in, and it looks like, oh, this is awesome. Look at this. So he uses the Night Shroud to give all these units, the Spiders and the Giants, stock and unspottable. That's pretty glorious for sure. So currently all these guys are stalking and unspottable. So they're all invisible right now, which is pretty hilarious. The Casket shooting in once again. Still working on those Black Orcs right there. Those Orcs haven't taken any casualties. And honestly, the Casket hasn't done too much. But here comes the birds in the back. The Carrion from Random Nyx probably will be flying in and going after the Goblin Rockclobber and some of these other tools. But now the jig is up. You know, the Spider and the Trolls, actually they're still hidden, believe it or not. And now they're visible. Okay, so now they can be seen. This one's still hidden for now. You can see the hidden icon. These ones are visible. So the Trolls are going to go in very aggressively. I mean, there's spears and Ushapti here and missiles. This is a very, very ballsy play here. So the Trolls do get the charge on the Ushapti, which is quite nice. The Ushapti take the full charge, and Trolls do have a charge bonus of 24, which isn't negligible. It's decent. Here on the flank, we have the Night Goblin War Boss fighting against the Nehekar Horsemen, who do have the Cursed Blades, which means they're going to have 40 weapon strength. And the Goblin's not having a good time. Spider's here as well, but it's not the Queen, so she can't summon any Spiders to help herself. And the Giant is now fighting against the Ushapti and the Tomb Scorpion in the front line, but the Greenskin Wa seems a little bit all over the place. Like the main engagement, I guess, with the Giants, and it just doesn't seem like enough of an overwhelming push. Some Ushapti have been sent here into the Black Orcs, who are very beat up from that pressure from the Casket. And here on the far side, some of the Spider Riders, they look to have come back. Or these are actually the Archers, yeah. These are the Spider Rider Archers. A little bit of lag in the game, should subside in a moment. And in the back, like we suspected, the Goblin Rockclobber gets taken out by the Carrion. And Apostate Prostate, unfortunately, reacts a little bit late, and Random Nyx is able to get the free picks there. This will probably be a pretty quick one here, as the Trolls are going to get taken out by the Focus Fire from the Archers and the Spears. The Giant will go down rather quickly here against the Skeleton Archers. Although the Giant is, the one thing that's doing okay here. It's stomping out some Ushapti and doing some decent damage here. Looks like a Vindictive Glare coming in, blasting into these Ushapti as this little Goblin that could charges in as well. And, the thing is Katep is spamming his spells, which means that the Goblin can't even use the Wa. That's oftentimes, it's really, really hard to play around for sure. But it's a matchup that the Greenskins can win. They can win this. It's not as bad as everyone thinks, but it's a Tomb King favored matchup in my opinion for sure. So Night Goblin War Boss fighting here, hopping around, going to be finally getting that Wa. That probably felt good to belt out that glorious Wa. Some of the Biggins shall be moving in towards some Skeleton Spears, and in the back, the Carrion are sort of being dealt with. Some of the Orc Warboy Biggins are able to peel off those Carrion, and the other ones are being pushed off as well. So some things going a little bit better for the Greenskins here. Trolls are falling back, Spiders falling back. The Giant, unfortunately, though, is completely crumped. He's been taken out by a legion of spears and just kind of pokes and strokes here. And the Skeleton Archers are now switching onto the Arachnarok Spider, which is going to be a tough threat. There's not like a ton of heavy anti-monster here in this Tomb King army. So, I mean, maybe the Greenskins with a stretch of hope here can pull this one back. It's a little bit Grimbones, though, for sure. Skeleton Spears here are getting crumped down. You can see some Nehekar Horsemen here are being poked by some Greenskin Skirmishers, the Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And Black Orcs are making their way back to the battlefield. Spiders coming in. I mean, maybe if the Greenskins could, for example, kill this Tomb Scorpion, isolate it with the Spider and some Trolls, but I don't see that happening. I think Terror Routes here are going to be a big issue relatively soon as the Greenskin army starts to take more and more damage. The Giant did come back for a moment, but it looks like he was instantly broken once again. Skeleton Archers, very cost-effective against light armor here, and you can see the Giant, of course, has 0 armor when he is indeed sundered by the Blessed Legion of Demonization. Casket going in, going to be shooting into the Black Orcs. Nehekar Horsemen from Random Nyx are chasing those guys down. And here in the center, we do have the glorious Warlord's Boys fighting to the bitter end, and the Arachnarok Spider tanking those archers like an absolute champ. And ammunition is a little bit sparse here. I mean, maybe we could see some sort of a wild Greenskin comeback. So will the Apostate be able to do it? I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, because Concept will run out of ammo eventually, but man, that splash damage is so nasty in this like kind of blob fight here. And you can see the little Goblin Shaman having a bit of a tough time being pushed by the Arachnok Spider. Some of the trolls here might be able to fend off the Nekar Horseman, allowing the Rusty Arrows to start shooting once again, and it looks like some Savage Orc Arrow Boys have been sent into combat with spears, perhaps opting, thinking they're a little bit safer in melee combat here, choosing to use their fists instead of their bows, which is very Greenskin. Now, as far as the Spider goes, Spider's doing okay, but it's shaken. And if the Spider breaks, the balance power is actually somewhat even now, believe it or not. But if the Spider does break, that pretty much is going to seal the game. If it breaks, it'll get chased off by some of the Nekar Horsemen or more mobile elements. Some of the Orc Poor Boy Biggins looks like they were over-chasing somewhere else, but they are back now. And honestly, these Orc Piggies could run downtown here and start really dumping on this back line. They could go after the Blessed Legion, some of these archer units. So if Apostate has noticed this, I mean, he could definitely get some value out of that. But nonetheless, Little Goblin here is fighting tooth and nail. The Arachnok Spider is shaken. It's wavering. It's at 1 leadership. It's at -5, -11, 1, -5, 7, 12. It's really on the edge here. And it's not the queen, so it can't summon little spiders to kind of help itself out on the ground. And some of the pig cab, the bacon cab, are able to jump onto those Ushopti there and do some work. But Concept is just dropping those sweet dubstep beats, just whatever, you know, house music, whatever you guys want to refer to it as. He's doing some damage here. Really probably has a lot of kills. Only 81 actually, but a lot of damage for sure. Back in the fight, Spider's still going. Pigs are charging in, and I mean, maybe if the Greenskins could win something here, but no, the Spider's broken. That's going to be really tough. I think there are some mobile Tomb Kings units nearby as well. Yeah, the Ushopti or Nekar Horsemen are here. They're first going to kill the Goblin Rockclobber and then probably peel off and chase down the Spider. Peel off like the food. That's funny. And the Night Goblin Warboss scrapping into the pits. Here he goes. You know, I'm really impressed at how long Apostate has been able to scrap in this game, considering I think his army composition was definitely not up to the task of taking out this Tomb King's army. But yeah, he really scrapped really well despite that. So well played to him. But that is going to be army losses here pretty soon, as the Greenskins, when they typically go down, they go down fast. And the Wah is activated. One last glorious Wah from the throat of this Night Goblin Warboss. But it is not going to be enough, as the Casket shall rain in the Ushopti summon. Good summon here by Random, basically making sure the Spider doesn't come back. And that's going to be all she wrote. So well played to both players. Random Nix is going to be winning 2 games here. 2 games for the current King of the Hill. Let us go ahead and update this bad boy. The Wah tried its hardest. Very cheeky tactics in the beginning, using the Night Shroud to try and sneak in there. Yeah, Grimgor needs some love. He's a bit of a sad case. So next up, in our King of the Hill, we have Guac, who said he wants to play Bretonnia. So any Bretonian fans out there, we'll see if he's here. We'll see if the man, the myth, the legend is here. All right. No one scraps like Du Bois. So we have a donation coming in from Aaron Larmore. 20 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, man. He says, peace to all brothers. For the one true hero, Wookiee will save us all. It's true. The chosen of Nurgle himself shall embrace us all. Wookiee in the living room. He left us a Nurgly present this morning, that's for sure. Aaron, thank you so much for the donation. Now for the next map. Let us do the Chill Flow. That sounds fun. Let's do the Chill Flow. So Random Nix is the current King of the Hill. Do the Chill Flow, see what this one looks like. It looks like some sort of a, well, we'll see. GG, well played to both players. And now, let's see what we got. All right, just messaging Guac real quick. Let me know if you can see it. All right, so he's going to be joining here in just a second. And then we'll be good to go. So thanks again for joining, guys. It's been a fun stream. Been a good stream. What kind of a present? Well, you guys can probably guess. Presser Sleepy Time says, this makes me want to go back to that FFA with the 4 Arachnox. That was a great game. Man, that takes me back. The Chill Flow sounds like a down-tempo YouTube mix. It does. Wookiee is 100% a champion of Nurgle. Nurgle's my favorite stuff to play in tabletop. They're kind of weak right now, which is really unfortunate. Okay, send Steam ID. So I just have to add them on Steam real quick, because you guys know it's ridiculous how you can't see. Like, why is that? You can't see lobbies and things like that. It's silly. They should fix that. So he's going to send me a Steam ID. So it's the Guac. Man must really like guacamole. Don't blame him. It's one of the best things ever. All hail the mighty. All right, pulling him up now. See if I can find him here. Your friend ID. So he is going to send me his friend ID, and we'll get him added, and that'll be good. Yes, it was a turd. I know you guys are quite curious about that. Wookiee is truly a foul creature. Lokir Philhart says, I started Aklida and Krokar. Declare war on me. I must restart. There's no way to win against Saurus with skeletons. Yeah, it's hard for sure. Yeah, no, I know it's region blocks. It's just silly. Yeah. Perfect. So he sent me his friend ID, and we'll get the man added here in a second. Sent. And then when he appears on the friends list in just a moment, we'll be good to go. Perfect. So we'll invite him to the lobby. So we'll do the chill flow, some down-tempo, lo-fi chill flow beats here on this map. As much as I joke about Total War 3 Age of Sigmar, would you like to see it? I mean, if I have the choice between no Total War fantasy games and Age of Sigmar, like way down the road, like I'm talking like a couple of years, I would definitely take it because like I love the fantasy genre, especially in Total War. So like, yeah, I wouldn't complain. I don't really like the Age of Sigmar lore, but the gameplay it's a fun game to play. Like I played a couple games with Lore Master of Sotek and on Tabletop Simulator, and we enjoy it. Well, I know we almost had Guacamole facing off against Taco. That would be something. So Random Nick's here saying, the man himself, prophet of the avocado. So we're going to be on the chill flow. So King picks 3. Opponent banishes 1 and picks. And King picks. Cool. So, only of the mashed kind. So apparently he's not an avocado guy. He's more of a guacamole guy, which is fair play. Guacamole is delicious. Big thing here in California. A big thing here in California indeed. Ladies dig the flow, bro, says a little bit pile of dirt. Hey, take care, Cyber Pansy. Cheers, man. I feel like when I say your name, I'm like insulting you, but it is your name. So I hope it doesn't come across that way. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. So what do we got? For picks and bans, Random Nicks, I'm sure, is going to do some memery of sorts. Although, you know, honestly, his last build was very competitive. He just was playing a sub-faction and happened to get a greenskin game. He'll go Clan Rictus, the Drowned, and Warherd of the Shadowgave. Okay. So Guac, ban 1, and pick. So we'll see what the guacamole brings. We'll do it to it. That actually wasn't the password. No, that was his Steam ID. See what the tyrannical guacamole picks. Have you ever thought about doing a high funds tournament? Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Doing like it becomes harder to focus. You know? Yeah. I'm just really waiting for the old world to come back. Because obviously Games Workshop announced that they're bringing back Warhammer Fantasy. As it was, more or less. So that'll be a couple of years, but that's what I'm really looking forward to. Like, I'll go deep in that when that comes out. So he bans Rictus and picks Bretonnia. So he banned Clan Rictus and he picked Bretonnia. So we have the Drowned against Bretonnia. Now, Bretonnia has a couple of good options here. You bring the Fey Enchantress with magic damage, and you can also mix in the Green Knight. The Green Knight does do magic damage and can kill those ghosts, no problem. It's time for some Drowned, boys. Guys, we got the Drowned versus Bretonnia. We'll see what Guacamole brings against Random Nicks, the current King of the Hill. Random on a two-game run right now. So we'll see how that goes. So while the players do their thing, I'm going to hang out with you guys. I'm going to do it to it. I want to see Rictus game so bad. He's just so haggard. I know, he really is. But, you know, Rictus was banned, guys. Tretch is terrifying. Tretch is quite scary. Yeah, it is kind of cool. The sub-factions, you get to see the color schemes. But, like, picking Warherd of the Shadowgave isn't even, like, a nerf, really. Because Morker's just, like, always the pick. Ryan Smith in chat, aka Flying Taco, says, I don't know who to root for. My friend Randomnix, who's actually a friend of his, or this mysterious guacamole guy that I seem to be attracted to for some unknown reason. That's really good. I know, guys. Tretch will come another day, but at least you're getting the Drowned. Come on. Who doesn't love seeing Solastra and the Damned Paladins and, all these shenanigans? Quite spooky indeed. It's time for some Drowned boys. Random Nick says, I really wanted to bring out Tretch with the sad face. But Bretonnia, I think, has a hard matchup versus Skaven, so, that's... But the ghosts, man. The ghosts are coming. I know, I'm scared of Tretch. I am scared of Tretch. Yeah, Tretch with his anti-large just soloing the entire Bretonnian army. I mean, come on, what's not to be afraid of there, guys? That is quite a fearsome opponent. All right. Guac says, I do not want you to suffer. It's funny. He banned just as fair Random Nick's having to play Tretch, apparently. But I'm sure if Random wins, he'll keep trying to play Tretch. So, guys, the hope is not lost. But if the brave Bretonnians win, then the hope of Tretch may be over. The Chill Flow, I don't really remember this map. Like, I usually, whenever I see these like maps with trees and like snow, I'm like, nope, no Dark Elf maps. But, today we're trying. We're trying different stuff. Lady of Guac, bless us all. So Slater in chat says, I want the end times to be rewritten and have Tretch as the last man standing, just standing over the corpse of Archeon. Oh my god. And he becomes the Great Horn Rat. Man, we should be writers for Games Workshop. With these glorious narratives that are being spun here in chat. Remember, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, do drop a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do so. It helps me out quite a bit. Definitely encourages me to do more streams. Oh, Random Nicks on the Drowned, the Guacamole. He better bring a Green Knight. The greenest of greens here on the Bretonnian roster. Random Nicks is ready. Guacamole still making some final tweaks, and now he's ready as well. The Chill Flow, Bretonnia versus the Drowned. Here we have it. Here we have it indeed. And also, guys, next weekend, Saturday the 21st at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're having the ECL Grand Finals. We have A Move Hacker facing off against... who's on the top side of the bracket? I'm totally blanking right now. A Move Hacker facing off against Flying Taco. And on the bottom side, we have Falcon facing off against Imperator for the Grand Finals of ECL Season 4. $200 cash prize to the winner. Winner takes all. Pretty decent stuff. US dollars, that is. Should be fun. So look forward to seeing you guys next weekend. As well, granted, you'll probably see me tomorrow. We'll be doing a stream of some sorts, perhaps. Or maybe I'll just upload a video tomorrow. I need to do I don't know. I have some funny ideas. All right, guys. So for the Forces of Bretonnia, let us go ahead and take a look. Peasant Archers. Always a good choice against Vampire Coast. Really good at outranging the guns and just putting pressure. Granted, most Coast players are quite prepared for this these days. Now for his heroic core, he does have Gotrek, which is always good. And Gotrek actually does do magic damage. So I guess, yeah, he's probably better than the Green Knight here because he's cheaper and does magic damage and is really good against crabs. So Gotrek, ready to karate chop some ghostly units. We do also have a Damsel of Life, and it looks like King Lewin Leoncoeur, who does not do magic damage. I feel like he would. I mean, isn't his sword, like, glowing? Like, come on, tell me Lewin that sword isn't magical, right? So in the front line for Bretonnia, it's Battle Pilgrims mixed in with some Men-at-Arms with Shields, which is good. 4 Archers, which is also quite solid. Holy Wardens. In the back, what do we have? We have some Knights of the Lionhearted, and looks like 2 Knights Errant, both of which can do quite well against the infantry, and some Spearmen-at-Arms in the back. It's a solid, well-rounded Bretonnian army. I actually like it. I think it's good. We'll see how he plays it. Now for the forces here of the Drowned. We have the Tide of Skuld, zombies in the front, bombers in the secondary, handguns in the third. 2 mortars in the back to try and kill off archers. Oftentimes you see either Queen Bess or mortars for that. A couple deck droppers, I would imagine, with handguns. No, actually just regular ones. So probably going to use these guys to like harry the peasants and just do that kind of stuff. Scurvy dogs as well. 1 group of Depth Guard, which I think is a really good inclusion because eventually the Battle Pilgrims will get through and you're going to want something that has good sustainability and can cut them down. And Solastra. So he does have Solastra Deer Fawn, or Direfin, as she actually should be called. He's got Fog of the Damned, Crab Summon, and it looks like the Spiteful Shot to give the accuracy buff probably to like mortars or something like that. We'll find out. Very exciting stuff. Good luck, have fun. The Guacamole doesn't seem to be taking any mercy here. He's ready. Gotrek is here. Lewin's here. Very good deployment as well. I really like the layering and having the width here and really good battlefield control. Seems like the Guacamole is a player who's played some battles. This mysterious Guacamole approaches. Perhaps Guacamole is someone in disguise. Who knows? We'll find out. So the Guacamole advances forward. The Vampire Coast obviously going to be taking more of a stationary approach. The mortars are raining in. Is Spiteful Shot being used? Probably not. He's probably going to save his Winds of Magic. Let it get fully filled up here. Mortars shooting into Men-at-Arms initially. A little bit of splash damage going on. The first Men-at-Arms here do take 2 casualties. These ones take 2 as well. The mortar fire, and it looks like the Jack Dropper Bats are scooting forward. Probably honestly shooting the Knights of the Lionhearted or something like that isn't bad. You got to watch out for the Peasant Archers, though. They can certainly do some damage to those type of lightly armored flying bat units that only have 15 armor. Mortars shooting in. Here they come. Going to be dropping some bows here on the Battle Pilgrims. But they're going to want to switch their firepower onto the Peasant Archers soon. If you don't, the Peasant Archers will really punish you, actually. They're really good at killing bombers. Like, for example, the Bretonnians here, Guac, he could stay still and use the Peasant Bowmen to kill the bombers before approaching, which probably isn't a bad idea. I mean, because if the Men-at-Arms and Pilgrims do charge into those bombers, they're going to take massive damage. Like, it's going to be brutal. On the backside, we do have some harassment going on from the Deck Droppers shooting the Knights of the Lionhearted. Some Peasant Archers here rotating to try and screen those guys out and do some damage, which is good. It takes away the pressure from the front line. So far, the Deck Droppers from Random Nicks have been doing a pretty good job at least harassing. Now, Handgunners are shooting in, going after Gotrek, but Gotrek charges in with a full chub. He does have some missile resist, of course, and he should be fine here, especially considering we have healing from the Damsel. And now the mortars have switched on to the Peasant Bowmen, and also the Deck Droppers on the flank are going after the Peasant Archers, which is really good, because without these Peasant Bowmen, the Bretonnian army is going to have huge problems getting in here, I think. Crab Summon going down from the Lore of the Deep. Oh, the Damned Knights Errant, which are going to slam right into these Peasant Bowmen. That's going to be strong. Now, Battle Pilgrims will do well here, but with Bombers really just kind of peppering into them, it's going to be nasty. Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis charging in here, getting a nice charge on the Tide of Skjold, which of course are a pretty choice target. With the Damned Knights Errant charging in there as well, really crumping those guys, but the Knights of the Lionhearted do magic damage. And oh man, those Bretonnian Knights are going to wreck these Ghostly Knights, showing them that the Living Knights are perhaps more powerful. The magic damage coming in, quite punishing here. Those Damned Knights Errant do take out a Peasant Archer unit, or at least break it temporarily, but they get crumped very, very quickly to boot. Now on the front line here, you can see the Men-at-Arms and other troops are having some problems against the Bombers, but the Battle Pilgrims are sustaining much better than the Men-at-Arms. Now the Bretonnians come in with full force. King Lewin coming in as well. The flanks of the Bretonnians actually, or the flank of this engagement here, actually going very well for the coast. But a countercharge coming in from the defenders of Fleur-de-Lis is really going to punish these zombies and probably crumble them down rather quickly. As a matter of fact, their HP is probably in the danger zone. It is 71 and crumbling. Their leadership negative 28. And Lewin has also opted to jump on the Bombers. So he is going after the Bombers, which does buy some time for the Men-at-Arms or Spearmen-at-Arms to get in here and actually fight. Looks like a Crab Summon going down from Silastra, the Oyster, Siloistra, and Zayirfan. Rotting Prometheans are going to be used to fend off King Lewin and allow these bombers to continue to cause havoc in the back line. Now, as far as the back line goes, you can see the Scurvy Dogs of Random Nicks have jumped onto the Peasant Bowmen. And the Peasant Bowmen, for the most part, are 100% compromised. You do have some right here. These guys are going to make their way in, but for the most part, I don't think those Peasant Bowmen are going to have a great time. Now, King Lewin's flying overhead. He's a little bit damaged. You can see he's taken a lot of damage from Silastra, perhaps, but he's going in for a pretty balls-deep engagement. This is very risky by the Guacamole. Song of Enthrallment is activated. He's slowed. His melee attack is only 32, and now the Black Spot plus the other Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs here are probably going to start shooting into King Lewin, which is really going to be a tough situation for him. Now, in the frontline fight, we do have the Holy Warden still going, but not for long. They're shaken. And Gottschalk's very beat up as well. In the back, we have some light harass going on from Knights Errant, who did cycle charge into some depth guard, but it looks like they got the receiving end of that trade. The mortars are still shooting. You know, the Vampire Coast doing a really good job harrying the archers, making sure they don't come back. And it seems like it's a Vampire Coast favorite situation right now. It's Random Nicks with Silastra Deerfon. It's really causing a lot of problems here. Crab Summit on Lewin will tar pit him. Looks like the first one does disappear. The second one is still active. Gotrek is nearby as well. You got to respect the Gotrek, but if you really look at Vampire Coast, I mean, you have the handguns in good shape, the mortars are in good shape, there's still bombers with ammunition just causing problems. I just don't see how the Bretonnians are going to get back in this. Here comes a nice charge of the Knights of the Lionhearted, going to be going right into these deckhand mobs, which have a really cool scheme from the Drowned. I actually like that kind of navy blue. You can see the Drowned. These guys are going to be drowning in a sea of lances, but Silastra's coming over here. It's going to be crab slapping them, and probably Knights of the Lionhearted are immune to psychology, so at the very least they will fight to the bitter end. Lewin looks like he's going to be going after the mortar teams now, but the handgunners are really just giving Lewin the business. That's really a big problem. The Black Spot just turning around, shooting him every chance they get. Gottschalk, of course, doing a good job down here, fighting. Fog of the Damned is active, which is going to lower the stats of these units, but he is, chopping down these crabs, which is good. Granted, the crabs are just summons, so it's not terribly impactful. Now, will Britannia be able to scrap their way back into this game? Death Guard on the far side are finishing off those Knights Errant, which is unfortunate. And Solastra is able to break off the Knights of the Lionheart, keeping those guys away from the main engagement. And what's really unfortunate here for Britannia, even worse, is that the deck droppers are still alive, and they can pretty much unleash all this ammunition onto any number of the cav units and really just punish them. Lewin is able to get the mortar offline, though, which is good, but taking just massive volleys to the face. He does have the Lion Shield, but I don't think it's active. He's shaken right now. He's amongst halberds. Some Knights charging in the back. Very valiant effort here by the Guacamole. Really, I mean, doing all he can despite the tough circumstances. Charging into the back here of the black spot. Solastra coming in, but Gotrek's coming for that booty right now, and he's not messing about. Gotrek is certainly up to the task of eventually chopping down Solastra. It will take him some time, but he gives a really, really good option against that unit there. Now, where's King Lewin going? The handgunners need to be shut down. Now, if there were no handgunners, for example, Lewin would be exponentially more durable, but he's going in. Song of Enthrallment is active. Stand Your Ground will also help, giving him some melee defense, but it's not going to help his melee attack issue, which is now only 32. And it looks like he's kind of going all in on Solastra, thinking that maybe, and correctly so, if he can goon Solastra with these two, anti-large, or, well, I guess anti-armor characters, he's going to be in relatively good shape. But the handgun's still shooting, and the deck droppers are just kind of stalking Lewin and shooting him wherever they go. The Bretonians are coming back in with some troops, but they're still a very healthy Depth Guard unit, which could probably clear out all this Bretonian chaff. And now you can see Lewin is wavering. The deck dropper is really doing a lot of damage, and that is going to be army losses. It's basically going to be Gotrek versus the world. And very well played to both players, but the Drowned is, claiming more zombies for its legion here, as Gotrek is going to be the last man standing in this engagement here. GG indeed. Very well played to those two players, but the Drowned was just quite ferocious there. Quite ferocious indeed. The backline harass was really good. Taking out the peasant archers was incredibly solid, and Solastra was too thick for the Bretonians to deal with. Too thick indeed. So, Random Nicks climbing up here, guys. One more to tie the taco. We will see. We will see. All right. So let's go ahead here, guys, and pull in the next player, which is going to be our very own mod here, Wicked D. Wicked, if you're watching, you are up, brother. And 1, 2, 3. All right. So Wicked shall be joining in a moment. Oh, is that Wicked? I don't know if it is. Oh, it is. Okay. So I accidentally just clicked on his army, which means it's going to be visible now. Maybe I can do this. Okay, so that is Wicked. I just didn't recognize the name. So for this map, we'll do not the Golden Colossus. We'll go back to a bit of an old school map. We'll do a little Troll Country. We've tried a lot of new maps for the day. So I do need to put a screen blocker up, which is my eternal dismay. Next we have Xiphos and Protocol Wired. So let's get a blocker. What blockers do I have here? Well, there's always the classic blocker that everyone loves from the ECL. This disturbing one. There you go. And obviously I trust Random Nicks, but I just want to make sure that if he accidentally has a stream open or something or minimizes, he doesn't see his opponent's army. All right, perfect. So hopefully we can have a blocker stream. GG Guacamole, dude, you put up a great fight, man. Well played to you, brother. The Guac, may you enter chat and enjoy the rest of the stream. Blocker for the podcast god. I know. So Random Nicks is going to go Clan Rictus, Bretonia, and Dark Elves. The Clan Rictus, he really wants it. He really wants it, but Wicked D is here. And he's coming for blood. Will the moderator drop the banhammer on Random Nicks here in this game? We'll find out. And while they do their picks and bans, I'm going to hang out with you guys in chat and we'll do it to it. Yes. You guys like the blocker? It's very disturbing. So somebody did a face swap with myself and Italian Spartacus, and that's the result. It's really cursed. Look at that. It's so weird. Look about ready to just comment on some sports ball. That's funny. Good man, Guac. Good man. I swear that blocker makes my head hurt when I look at it for too long. Like my brain is constantly trying to figure out what's wrong with it, even though I already know. Shetland, ask him why not. I think he's trying to get Clan Rictus. Like he's just trying to... Shetland, I think he's doing it because he's giving two good options, and then so like Rictus will be left. I look like I make YouTube theory videos when I have Sparty's face. I could never beat Italian Spartacus's beard. He just has the genetics for it. You know, he's really like, you know, he has the better facial hair, and I have hair on my head. That's the trade we have there. So guys, we got Vampire Counts versus Clan Rictus. It's happening. It's happening. No, guys, Rictus is coming. So Dario Hernandez says, does anyone in chat paint? I have a few dumb questions. So I paint 40K quite a bit, but are you talking about like miniature painting or like actual painting? Lady Turin might be around too. She's a really talented painter. But let us know, Dario. Let us know. So yeah, guys, we got Clan Rictus coming in deep against the Vampire Counts. I'm really excited to see what Wicked brings as well. I mean, I can see it, but I'm excited to see it in action. That's what I meant to say. Basically just going to hang out with you guys now. So the one thing I can do very well, guys, is have a beard and a mustache and a mullet. Yeah. So I will have a great mullet. My hair grows really long, and also I will have a mustache for you guys. So you guys will be taken care of. A fat Rictus. Oh man, it is Rictus, guys. He's gonna bring Tretch. He's gonna do it. Tolus Vampire Counts are good. They're a good faction. Yeah, they have some good tools. They're not like, you know, as strong as they used to be, in my opinion, but I still think Vampire Counts can contend with a lot of factions. They have some really bad matchups, but they also have some very good ones. I think Vampire Counts are solid. They're actually my repertoire of factions I often pick in multiplayer, so I really do like playing myself some counts, using some White Kings on foot and all that kind of stuff. Or Banshees against Coast. Yeah, so it is what it is. So, okay, so Dario says miniature painting. I have a wet palette, and I was wondering if I still have to use water to thin out my paints, if I have them on the palette. It depends. So, yeah, you have a wet palette, obviously, and usually, like, you can kind of work on the palette itself to wet out to make sure the paints are, like, thinned out enough. It depends on how much, like, how dense of a palette you have, though. But, yeah, for the most part, like, you can do a little bit of both. Like, yeah, you can do a little bit of both. Well, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Michaela in chat says, so you can make a Dr. Disrespect imitation. Let me just double check here. Does Dr. Disrespect have an actual mullet? You see, because my mullet would be real. Doesn't he wear a wig? Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to let me know. But, you know, I would have an actual mullet. It would be real. Like my hair. Full Monty, full Joe Dirt. But if he has a real mullet, props to him too. All right, so we got One-Eder Man and Random Nix here. Rictus against the Vampire Counts. I'm aware there's a screen blocker. I am not going to let it go. It is not happening this day. Yeah, you definitely don't want to dry brush on a wet palette. Yeah, dry brushing is one of my favorite techniques, actually. Falcon says he's going to go with the Gracier on a bell and double Skaven carts. I really hope we get Tretch. He wears a wig? Okay. Yeah, I mean, because like living with a mullet is pretty rough for sure. Like, especially if you're in a relationship. Like, for the short time I will have a true mullet, I feel bad for Anna, because it's going to look so bad. I look like Will Ferrell, yeah. I actually really like Dr. Disrespect. He's pretty funny. I just like the 80s theme he has, you know? I mean, I haven't watched his content in a long time simply because, like, I'm just mainly focused on Total War, but there was a time when I was watching, you know, some of his streams in here and there. Way back in the day. Man, yeah, Twitch really makes some big celebrities, huh? It's wild. From my experience, though, I found that Total War isn't terribly popular on Twitch. That's one of the reasons I just keep streaming on YouTube. Even though Twitch has, like, more integrations and probably, like, more fluid streaming service. All right. I'm minimizing to get rid of the blocker. Where is it? Where's that scary blocker? Ah, it's gone. The Tretch cometh. Oh, baby. Yes. Guys, Tretch Craven Tail is here. And let's take a look at what he even does. So it looks like he cut all the abilities from Tretch. Random Nix just decided to bring the Tretch's Raiders. So if he's winning in melee combat, he gives melee attack, weapon damage, and armor piercing damage to nearby troops. Only if he's winning, though. And he basically has standard die. So he did not bring the Get Back Here ability. which is pretty funny, but he just opted to go a little bit cheap. Now, the rest of his build is pretty typical vampire counts. It's just a box with like halberds, and basically what you do is you use the Blight Scab's Plague Pack to give your entire Death Star immunity to psychology. Then from there, use the Council Guard to be an unbreakable anchor, the Mortis Engine to drain down the troops using a Plague Priest, and the Hellpit Abominations to fight the monsters. It's a good build. It's a good build. I mean, the only weak element is Tretch. And Warp Grinders as well are very good. AoE magic damage and snares are always powerful. It's a really good army. Tretch is here, boys. Now for the forces of Wicked D, will he drop the Banhammer on the current king? He's got Crypt Ghouls, he's got Zombie, he's got some Cairn Wraiths on the far side, and he does also have some Fellbats up in the skies. Now for his cab, he does have Blood Knights. Blood Knights very good against Hellpits if they can isolate them in open field, not so much in the blob fight. And it looks like a dreaded Black Coach as well. Cairn Wraiths into the Sunset, which are a decent AP option here. And who's his Lord? Oh, guys. Yes, it is Vlad von Karstein. He's coming. And he does also have 2 White Kings with Scab Scraith, which are very good against the blob. Hell yeah, we get Vlad the Chad, as people call him. He's coming in hot here. This is going to be a fun battle. Vlad against Tretch. Vlad will win that duel for sure. But it's still going to be fun to watch. And Tretch, of course, will not fight a fair duel. He's a Skaven. He's going to be doing his treachery and all that. I am very excited for this game. It's a nasty Death Star for sure. This is pretty similar to how I play it. I use less of the halberds. I just use Council Guard, and then use like mostly Skaven Slaves with spears and things like that. But yeah, this is a pretty good box. Army size. Let's go ahead and double check here. I think I accidentally just hit a hotkey. That might have changed something on the stream. Falcon predicting easy vampire count win. We will see. Yeah, there's not a lot to kill the White Kings. That's something that's going to be an issue. The Hellpits, of course, kind of can, but it's not terribly efficient. The Cairn Wraiths are also a good pick as long as they can stay away from the Blight Scab's Play Pack. Granted, the Mortis Engine effect will drain the life away from these Cairn Wraiths rather quickly, so you've got to be careful with that. So the Skaven march forward. Clan Rictus marches the war, led by the great Tretch Craventail. Will he do battle this day? Will he break down these forces? We will find out in the next episode. So the Hellpit Abomination shamble forth as well. Skaven most certainly going to be fully surrounded by the forces of the Vampire Counts. Crypt Ghouls will do okay. I mean, the thing about Storm Vermin Halberds is their offensive output is pretty poor. Their attack rates are slow, and they only have 26 melee attack here with a couple chevrons, so... Fellbats flying overhead. He could use the Fellbats to chase off routing units, but not a lot in the Skaven army is going to rout. Most of it is pretty durable, and by Skaven standards is rather high leadership. So we'll see how this goes. White King and Vlad, though, I mean, honestly, just letting them kind of saturate into combat is going to be really strong. Cairn Wraiths coming down on the far side. Where is the Plague Pack going to go? Currently, the entire Skaven blob is immune to psychology, so terror routes aren't really going to be a thing from the Cairn Wraiths until the Plague Pack has been dealt with. So the battle's underway. Vlad is charging in to the Halberd Rats here, as is the White King. Sparta Kicks coming down from both characters, but now the Mortis Engine effect is going down from the Plague Furnace. Also a really nice pick here by Wicked. I really like that he brought the Graveguard with great weapons. And a Rat Summon is going to be going down from the Plague Priest to try and target the Vampire Count aggression here. But the Graveguard have pulled back from the summon, and now they can re-engage on the flank here against either the Council Guard or the Storm Vermin. So in the main engagement, White King and Vlad really doing a good job. You can see the Storm Vermin are taking quite a bit of damage. Now in the back, the Blood Knights have charged in, but oh no, that's not good. They got caught in a Warp Quake. So the Warp Quake has been activated. Blood Knights are taking AoE damage. Pretty much the entire Vampire Count army was, no, it's just kind of the center mass right here. Fellbat's not really sure what they're up to. They're kind of just waiting for an opportunity to chase down a routing unit, I think. You could use the Fellbats as kind of a, tar pit on the Hellpits. It's actually not a terrible idea. Just get like one Fellbat and tar pit like a Hellpit Abomination. Scab Scraith going down, which does decent damage here against the Halberds. And in the front, the Skaven seem to be holding. Of course, the Sensor Bears have some pretty good punch themselves and can hurt the White Kings. And Tretch is just being Tretch. He's just running around, not doing anything, which is pretty classic. And the Storm Vermin down to 94 models. White King's getting some pretty good kills. Vlad, of course, doing some decent damage as well. Cairn Wraiths on the far side, not really taking magic damage, and also buffed up by the Von Hell's Dance Kebab, giving them melee attack, and that's one of their weaknesses, really. Their melee attack isn't super high, but that's going to help out quite a bit. Hellpit Abomination is not going after large targets, per se, but there aren't really many. Probably getting the Hellpits on the Blood Knights isn't a bad idea, and one Hellpit Abomination is actually a little bit surrounded. Nice play by Wicked. So what Wicked did is he got the Fellbats in the center, and then he collapsed on the back of this Hellpit, therefore trapping it in combat here with the Blood Knights, which have it pretty well surrounded. You can see the Knights of Red Keep are certainly not messing about. Now, Skaven are going to be using the Juicy Blessed with Filth, so the entire Skaven mass here pretty much has poison damage, which, yes, you can poison zombies and skeletons. Somehow, don't ask questions. Perhaps it's like a corrosive poison that, wears away the brittle bones. Who knows? But if the Plague Pack does go, if somehow he can get rid of those, the Terror Routes could suddenly become very, very powerful. And it seems like this flank for the Skaven has collapsed. The Cairn Wraiths are pushing in, and they're going to be getting into contact here with the Warp Grinders. But this is also quite scary because the Blight Scab's Plague Pack is now pulling back from this engagement, and it's going to use their magic Sensor Bearers to beat down the Cairn Wraiths. White Kings are still doing pretty well in combat, and the Hell Pit Abominations are they're doing that bump and grind here, and you can see the Blood Knights are being forced back as well. Cryptical is taking a lot of damage, and the Warp Grinder, man, really just getting huge value. That AoE damage, especially magic damage against all these Cairn Wraiths, is extremely punishing. Now, Wicked needs to, if he can, find a way to break off these Hell Pits. If he could break one Hell Pit away and then chase it off with the Blood Knights, that would be Value City. Oh no, Wicked forgot about the Black Coach. Oh, that's really rough. So he forgot about the Black Coach for the entire game so far. Oh man, he was doing so well too. But the Black Coach not being here, I mean, this thing has huge AP values and could have done some serious damage against some of these armored troops. Nonetheless, though, Vlad and his two White Kings are now going to be going after the Hell Pit Abomination. Scab Scraith going down. Graveguard Great Weapons here are putting a bit of a hurting here on the Council Guard, which is pretty cost effective. They're actually taking a ton of damage here from these Great Weapons and also from the Cairn Wraiths. Now, it's still a game that is winnable here for Wicked, despite the Black Coach. The Black Coach coming back is obviously very impactful, and he can cycle charge, he can do some great damage. Yeah, really breaking off this Plague Pack here would be really, really good. Those guys are giving the immunity to Psych here, which is quite strong. Vlad's in okay shape. He does have the Von Karstein ring, I would imagine. Does he? I can't quite tell. It's a little bit tricky, but Vlad is very, very tough to kill. It usually takes a long, long time, but I think the Skaven are pulling ahead. The absence of the Black Coach, pretty big for sure. That's like a heavy punching unit. But the AoE damage coming in from the Warp Grinders and yeah, the Hell Pit Abominations are just not falling. One of them is very low. Wicked did a good job isolating it with the Fellbat push, but Random Nyx has done a really good job keeping his army all within range of that immunity to Psych, and also pulling back the Plague Pack whenever they get threatened, and making sure to keep that immunity to Psych going for pretty much the entire battle. Balance of power currently in the favor of Random Nyx here in this battle. It looks like a GG may be getting dropped here. The forces of the Counts, GG going back both ways. And now the White Kings fight to the bitter end. I really do like the White King pick. It really gave him nice sustainable punch against the Halberds, but the monsters are a little bit healthy here. You can see here the dreaded Hell Pit Abomination is still going. You know, I think what's pretty good against the Skaven boxes are Vargulfs as well. They can really cycle charge and kind of outmaneuver the Hell Pits, and they trade pretty efficiently there, believe it or not. Warp Grinder going down once again is going to be grinding down the Graveguard. Those Skaven drilling teams certainly doing some work as the mighty Black Coach cometh. And if you guys haven't seen it on Twitter, Loremaster of Sothek is actually painting his Black Coach. It looks really good. He's been putting up some progress pictures. And that is going to be a victory for Tretch Craventail, who, I don't really know what he did this game, if anything, but he lived. Tretch lived, and that's all you need to do, Tretch. Clan Rictus will claim victory over the forces of the Vampire Counts. Well played to both players. Good builds across the board. But Tretch and his boys were quite durable there. So let's go ahead and update the scoreboard. Random tying the taco. Random tying the taco, guys. Tretch has won this day. Now, here's the thing. It's like here, guys. Oh, okay. Will do. So Zardar has given me a screen blocker to show you guys. Zardar Total War. So let me pull it up here. Okay. So now Xiphos is up. So let me tag Xiphos. And if Xiphos beats Random, then Xiphos will basically play players on the reserve list until he loses. Okay. You're up. Will... All right, perfect. Perfect. So, guys, we have a tie between Taco and Random. Both have been on a bit of a run today. We gotta update this. Random. Xiphos coming to try and be the deal breaker here. So let's go ahead and jump here. Xiphos is here, and for the map, we'll do the Tower of Hoth. Hey. All right, so they're gonna do their picks and bans. In the meantime, we'll hang out. We'll do it to it. This is going to be a fierce one. Because, I mean, if our boy... how long are we on the stream? Just under 3 hours. That's pretty good. I wanted to, like, kind of wrap it up or get close to the end towards 3. If Random Nyx wins this, he basically wins the stream. No, that's not true, actually. No, we have one more person on the regular list, which is Protocol Wired. Okay, so there's still another chance there. Yeah, Vlad was focusing pretty hard targets. He was like fighting heavy targets. That's why I didn't have too many kills. He was like fighting storm vermin and big single entities. Random Nick says, how's the quarantine so far? And Zypho says, I'm not in quarantine, all good. Checking in on each other, which is always a good thing. See what they pick and ban. Zyphos, I'm sure, will come out with some elvish treachery. I know. You guys love the Clan Rictus. That's for sure. Guys, love me some Clan Rictus. Alrighty, perfect. Everything looks good. Map is set. The die is cast. Yeah, the Mortis Engine and the Grinders are really good for dealing with the Cairn rates also. Yeah, there's all that AoE magic damage. It's really solid. It was a good build. Yeah, it was a good build for sure. That's pretty similar to how rats usually play against vampires. Usually it's some sort of a Death Star. People mix in different things. Sometimes you mix in ogres. Sometimes you just do straight up halberds. Random hasn't played Bretonnia yet. We did have a Bretonnia game earlier that was very good. It was the Drowned versus Bretonnia. So Random Nix is going Clan Rictus, Lizardmen, and Coast. So apparently he really loves this Rictus. We'll see what Zyphos picks. Zyphos, of course, not going to be messing around. The French champion. Zyphos actually the champion of ECL Season 2. He was able to win ECL Season 2. Falcon, of course, won Season 1 and 3. Falcon potentially going to win Season 4, too. We'll see. He has to face Imperator, which is going to be a tough fight, but it'll be a good one. So, yeah, Rictus is on the table once again, but we'll see. Okay, so now we're going to get the screen blocker that Zardar Total War made for us. So hold on. Just setting it up, my friends. So let's just show you. It's good. It's really good. Zardar is actually really good at making these type of photos. I've seen him do it for a bunch of people in the community. So check it out. He put my face on Luther Harkin's face. Oh man, that's really good. So there's the blocker for now, guys. I'll leave it up for a minute. We don't need a screen blocker at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it here and then I'll take it down before we start. But yeah, that's the blocker. It's really good. And he's done a bunch of edits with different like content creators and players' faces on like different characters. It's really funny. Yeah, and Taco. I mean, Taco could win ECL4. He's going to have to potentially fight his friend here. But Taco was able to defeat Soothsayer. And Taco's been playing so good lately. Yeah. There you go, Zardar. And if you guys haven't seen Zardar on YouTube, please check him out. He's a great creator. Pride of Greece. There you have it. I'm going to take it down before I forget. All right. That's a glorious one, yeah. I know, it's really good. Like, he really got the face. He's really good at that. All right, so... what am I missing here? There was something I was going to double check. Okay, blocker is down. Back to the picks and bans. By the way, guys and gals, Tretch has the highest melee defense out of all lords. Bow to the true king, says Random Nix. So Zypho's still deciding who he wants to ban here, it looks like. We'll see. Tower of Hoeth is a pretty good map for his elves, I'm sure. Are we going to see Zyphos go for the throat here? Just bringing out the Wood Elf play. Perhaps so. Perhaps we will. Perhaps we will. Nobody defeats the blocker. I defeated the blocker today. I had many crushing defeats in my past that have prepared me to face these screen blockers. I know it's probably getting pretty late. Hopefully we're helping you guys get through your day. Yeah, Winds of Death is so expensive. It's really not worth it. So, Zyphos bans Clan Rictus, and he takes Wood Elves. Oh man, Zyphos not holding any punches. Because he knows if he beats Random Nix, then Random Nix is going to be relinquished to a tie. Which, that would be an honorable tie. Taco and Random, that'd be great. So we got Protocol Wired after this, and we have a couple people on the reserve list who, of course, would play after that if we have a little bit more time. I'm going to do some stretching back here for a quick moment. Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there. Man. Oh. Some weird sounds coming, I'm sorry. That was just a really nice stretch. I'm glad you put that together, Zardar. It's great. Who would you like to play if you were to get a role in tabletop in TTS? Wait, what am I missing? Michaela, who would I like to play if I were to get a role in TTS? What is that? What am I missing? Let me know, and I'll answer that question. So the beta patch Dario is for the campaign, so nobody that's playing in my tournaments is using it. Yeah. Which is less worth it, Winds of Death or Vangeist Revenge? Oh, they're both so bad. Probably, I don't know. Winds of Death can actually do things, so probably Vangeist is worst. It's so weird and slow too. So Random Nyx is going to be on Lizardmen facing off against Wood Elves. Yeah, Vangeist Revenge is so crappy. Oh god, it's like at least Winds of Death, if it like gets a square hit, can just like kill whatever it touches. But I mean, it depends on, the angle you're referring to. All right, perfect. Vangeist because you have to bring Lord of the Deep. That's a really good argument there. We'll see. Oh, if the Emperor had text-to-speech. Oh, goodness. I have no idea. I'm kind of out of the loop. I used to watch those a lot, but I haven't watched them like at all recently. If I were in 40K, I mean, who would I want to be in a 40K platform like that? I don't know. Like, I like playing Nurgle and all that, but I obviously wouldn't want to be, like, afflicted by any of Nurgle's stuff. That's, like, horrible. Anna speaking Polish to the dogs. Chasing them around. Anna, are you chasing the dogs around the house?
Chasing or being chased?
Being chased? Oh. Being chased by Wookiee. The carnival procession. Yeah, Vangeist Revenge is an awesome looking spell. All right. Perfect. You guys like Vangeist? I hate it. I've never had success with it. Yeah, the Emperor's text-to-speech is by Brava Alpha Busa. Hey Leo, welcome to the stream. Instead of just watching alone and eating Nesquik like the rat I am. Oh, that's pretty funny. Do you think they should have combined Norsca and Warriors of Chaos, seeing as in lore they're basically the same faction? I don't think so. I think like it's cool having them, and I'm sure someday they'll add new content to both those factions, and it'll be even more fleshed out. Yeah, I don't know who I would want to be in that though. Wookiee is scary. Oh yeah, Wookiee like he goes after me too. Sometimes he like hides under the bed, and when I like walk by, he'll be like, "Arr," like growl at me. I'm like, oh Jesus. Especially when it's like 4 a.m. The foul little creature he is. But we love our Wookiee. He's a saint. This Pucho. I wouldn't want to be Typhus. Typhus is kind of like a dick in the lore. You know? He's just like this sausage who just like forsake. I don't know. I really like the Death Guard in terms of like their playstyle and everything, and I love the look of Death Guard, like the Baroque armor and like the grim dark like appearance. I don't know. I mean, Typhus is such a troll though. He is such a troll in the lore. Like I know Mortarian's a little bit self-loathing and whatnot, but he's like, at least Mortarian still has some like independent kind of things he wants to do. Typhus just seems kind of like a servant of Nurgle, like explicitly. Yeah. I mean, granted, Mortarian basically is too, but you guys get the picture. All right. Sorry, random. I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. Perfect, perfect. Everything looks good. Forsaken sausage. But to be fair, I love playing Typhus in tabletop. Like, he's one of my favorite characters to use. Death Guard are really weak right now because Death Guard are, I believe, actually the first codex to come out in 8th edition, I think. One of the first ones. So they're super outdated. Like, power creep has just ran all over them. But Death Guard are about to get a Psychic Awakening soon. So when they get that, they'll probably be restored to their former glory. Because, like, Grey Knights were in the same boat. Grey Knights were, like, an absolute meme of an army. Just terrible. But then Psychic Awakening came and they just became like a contender and we're winning like GTs and shit. So like I think Death Guard will come back because one of my favorite builds to use in tabletop 40k. It's not competitive by any stretch, but if I'm playing with a friend or a newer player, I love to bring like Typhus, like 60 Poxwalkers, like 10 Terminators walking behind them with Cloud of Flies. It's just so metal, It's so metal. So the players are both like ready. They're playing like a ready up dance. Like one player readies, the other one like unreadies. So we have Xiphos versus Random Nyx here. It is time. Wood Elves versus Lizards. Will Random Nix become the king of the hill, the true king of the stream? Or will Xiphos crush his hopes and dreams and then try to claim the throne for himself? We will find out. Tower of Hoeth is the map. Tower of Hoeth is a classic multiplayer map. It's really good. I mean, new-ish, obviously, from Game 2, but it's really good. I love this map. Makes for a lot of fun, good-looking fights. Xiphos Cain, the hero of the Empire, would also fit you. There you go. Yeah. He's the guy who has all the book series written after him. All right, guys. I'm going into... So Christian Bender, as far as I understand with Death Guard lore, and this will be the last question I'll answer here about that. Well, I mean, of course, after the game I'll answer more, but I'll focus on the armies here in a second. Is that Mortarion is like a little bit more independent than Typhus. Typhus is basically explicitly trying to spread the gifts of Nurgle and and do the Nurgle thing, right? He's just like straight up like Nurgle's boy. Whereas Mortarion, who is a demon Primarch of Nurgle, he's kind of like... when you read about him and like his perspectives in the books and things like that, yeah, he kind of does the Nurgle thing. He's afflicted with Nurgle stuff. He's like a big Nurgle demon. His soul is basically sold to Nurgle. But he kind of like has his own agenda sometimes. Like Mortarion likes to, like he gets vengeful. Like Mortarion will want to go like kill Guilliman or something. Or like he'll want to go do something that is pertinent to his like former life as like a Primarch. Like some sort of vengeance, which isn't necessarily in like line with Nurgle's plans. Like sometimes he goes like off the rails a little bit. So Typhus is like a true like Nurgle homeboy in the sense like he just does what Nurgle wants. And Mortarion's a little bit more kind of like independent thinking and wants to do more his own thing a little bit rather than just following Nurgle's plan or whatever. I mean, he does do Nurgle's will when he's fighting, obviously spreading plagues and all that. But Typhus doesn't like that. Typhus is like, you should just do like, what I'm doing basically and blah, blah, blah. And that's like the whole... But, obviously Mortarion could probably cleave Typhus asunder. So they have a kind of a very... raggedy relationship. But I haven't read that book in a while, The Dark Imperium, but there's a bit where they're like, it's Typhus, Mortarion, and like a greater demon of Nurgle basically on a chat line together, and like they're kind of having a bit of a standoff about that. So the Glade Lord up in the sky is going to be the choice here for Xiphos. And of course the Pravenoth Rama, the classic Xiphos play, not messing about one bit. He's got triple Way Watchers, of course, which is always really good for sniping, but I think that Random Nix is probably going to be privy to this playstyle, having seen Xiphos play before. For the rest of Xiphos' army, his Eternal Guard, he does also have some of these juicy Wild Riders here in the back, some Dryads as well. And yeah, just a very spread out Wood Elf army. This is like classic, like I guess like mid-game 2 play, a Way Watcher play, which Xiphos, of course, is known for. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. For the Forces of the Lizards, very much expecting a kite missile play. He has a mass horde of Chameleon Skinks, which have 40% missile resist and are very good against light armor. So this is a great choice for sure. In the back, he's got 2 laser dinos. So yeah, Random pretty much going all in on the play here. All in on dealing with the kite and the Wood Elf archers. For his main line, he does have a couple skink cohorts with javelins. Saurus warriors, including the Legion of Chaqua to give that missile resist. And it looks like it is going to be a Salon Mage Priest of High Magic, which is a great choice. Basically, if Xiphos screws up for 1 second and Random is able to get the juicy Tempest on him, lock him down, shoot him with skinks, laser dinos, it's going to be bad. Apotheosis also gives him healing and a skink chief on foot. Honestly, this is a really good Lizard army. Both armies are really good, but it seems like the Lizard army is more like hard catered to dealing with this style of play, which Xiphos has brought. But again, we've seen Xiphos in ECL Season 2 and many other tournaments be able to win with his Wood Elves in matchups in which you're like, oh, he's not going to beat this Bretonnian Cav Rush, he's not going to beat this. So, could go either way for sure. But I think as far as the builds go, this is going to be a tough cookie to crack. Laser Dinos will force the Wood Elves in. So the Way Watchers are moving forward for Xiphos. The Slon Toad, perhaps in position as well. Little Skink Chief thinking about getting some darts here. Xiphos taking inventory of the army, thinking about what he wants to do or how he wants to approach this. And the Way Watchers are basically going to rotate to the weak side of the army, but like there's no good targets for the Way Watchers anywhere in the first couple rows. And this is what I'm talking about when I say buffering your artillery. There's, even if the archers if they want to get in range of the artillery, they have to be right in front of this line. Whereas like, if it was more tightly packed, the archers would be able to close the distance and not be threatened as much. So up in the sky, the dragon is going to be shooting into the Skink Chief. You can see he's having a little bit of a problem here. And yeah, he's juking. There is an Apotheosis to heal this guy though, so he can be healed up. And the Skink Chief on foot costs what, like 400 or something? Very, very cheap. Xiphos in the meantime getting his Wild Riders from the flank, while the Chameleon Skinks. Is there any Wild Rider treachery in the trees? No, actually, honestly, yeah, this is the right play. Get the Chameleon Skinks and pressure the Way Watchers here. The Way Watchers will not have a good time with that trade. They're going to get poisoned. They're going to get slowed. The Skinks will chase them down and do a lot of damage for sure. So this is a a good initial situation here for the Lizards, as the Way Watchers are wasting ammo on units that have 40% missile resist and are very loosely packed. Though Xiphos is getting good value in the middle, you can see up here his big old Glade Lord is pounding into the Skink Chief here, doing some really good sniping for sure. Skinks are taking some damage, but this is a very cost-effective way for the dinos to take this beating. And also you can see Earthblood actually being used on the Way Watchers very early, trying to keep those guys fighting. And it looks like the Skinks are pulling back. I think it's because of the onslaught of maybe some of the Dryads, but yeah, I would maybe keep pressuring and maybe even pull in more Skinks. One of these laser dinos, oh, never mind. Okay, I didn't see these guys. That's why he was falling back. So there were some Wild Riders with shields who emerged from the trees, and Xiphos actually has another ambush up here as well, it looks like. Yeah, he's got Wild Riders surrounding the whole army. So basically what Xiphos was trying to do there, it all makes sense now. I didn't see those, my apologies. He's trying to force the Skinks to overextend and pincer them in with the Wild Riders. So now as far as the Wood Elf army goes, pretty good shape. A little bit of damage here on the Way Watchers. The Laser Dino is falling back because the Way Watchers are trying to get in position here to shoot the Bastillodon, who does have the Hand of Glory. We'll be wearing off in a second. And the Glade Lord up in the sky, looking maybe to get some freebies or a Prey of Anathrema. That's kind of why Xiphos, I think, was rotating around that way. And now the Way Watchers shooting in, going after the Chameleons, and in the back Xiphos coming in here with the Wild Riders. Honestly, you could ride down these cohorts. That wouldn't be a bad idea. They're kind of overextended a little bit. Here, the Chameleons are just kiting and fighting. Saurus Warriors will trade pretty well with Dryads. It's a bit of a wash there. I think Saurus do end up winning in the very end, though, if they just grind to the bitter end. And Xiphos with a bit of a full surround. Wild Riders here, here, and here. Frontline engagement going in. Way Watchers are now closing the distance here with the Laser Dino. And you can see Xiphos making a huge effort. He's probably going to Prey of Anathrema right here. That's why the Dragon's going in so committed. Because the Way Watchers now have a full volley angle here on this Bastillodon, and there it is. Prey of Anathrema going down, and just to cover, he uses the Wild Riders to slam into the side of the Skinks. And the big old Dragon's also going to be jumping into the Skink Chief. Really, really beautiful timing here by Xiphos. Like the positioning, the timing of the attacks, everything pretty much went flawlessly there. And you can see this little Skink Chief probably is going to be getting put in the can. 231. The Laser Dino needs to be saved by like an Apotheosis or some sort of screening, because losing that Laser Dino this early is really an unfortunate situation. Now in the frontline fights, of course, the Saurus Warriors are doing very well. Eternal Guard and Dryads are losing the fights across the board. The Dragon has taken a bit of HP damage. There are Earthbloods, and I would imagine he has regrowth as well back here. No, just Earthblood. So there could be some Earthbloods healing up the Dragon. Dryads and other guys are going to be engaging with the Eternal Guard, and the Way Watchers are able to finish off one Laser Dino, which is pretty unfortunate here for random nicks. However, this is a big play right here, guys. Tempest coming down here, doing big damage against the Flyer, and all the little Skinks, and I would imagine the Laser Dino are lining up their sights here, and if Xiphos loses his Glade Lord to this Tempest, that is exactly what the Wood Elves need to get back in this game. He is broken, he is shaken, he is stirred, and down goes the Glade Lord. What a comeback here from random nicks. Things were looking pretty grimbones for him there, but the fact that he just popped that Lord in the face, all it takes is one moment for both players. One Prey of Anathrema can get the Wood Elves back in the game. One good Tempest can get the Lizards back in the game. An absolute scrap. So in this case, no more Preys of Anathrema. The Way Watchers are in relatively good shape with really good ammunition conservation going down from Xiphos, and now he's going to be shooting into the back here of the Saurus, who will be taking the full brunt of that volley because their backs are turned. In the back, the Wild Riders are running shot pretty well. Skink cohorts are being chased down. Xiphos with really good backfield control here, but now the Laser Dino and the cohorts are getting some good damage in. Unfortunately for random, though, this Bastillodon is shattered, but the Salon's still here, and with the Wood Elf Lord falling like that, that's really unfortunate for Xiphos. Some of the ammunition, of course, from the Way Watchers, not to his best benefit here, are being used on the Skink cohorts, who are shielded and quite numerous. But the Wild Riders coming in for a big collapsing charge. They are going to take some poison darts to the face as they do so, but Wild Riders do have silver shields. They're pretty good against that. Here they come, riding down the little Skinks. The other group of Skinks taking a beating as well, and both of these Skinks might rout off here. Granted, there's a big Toad coming. He's quite thick, this Salon. Going to be trying to push back the Wild Riders, which are very aggressively pushing after the cohorts. Way Watchers have pretty good ammo, and as far as fight left, Xiphos' Wild Riders will certainly be pretty good at cycle charging down Saurus, and it's a really, really close game, actually. Despite the fact that he did lose his Lord, his Way Watchers are still quite healthy in terms of ammo, and he's really picking and choosing his targets pretty well. But yeah, the Skinks with that 40% resist, it's so tough, and I wonder if Xiphos is going to scoot forward with the Way Watchers and try and take out the Laser Dino. Laser Dino is pretty good on ammo, too. That thing needs to fall, for sure. Dryad's coming back online. There is the Spellsinger of Life, and the Wild Riders are going to get a really nasty charge, but the Legion does turn around and face them, which helps. But they're still going to take a big charge, get sandwiched, and the Legion of Chaqua are a really tough unit to break. They got 48 melee defense and anti-large, and you can see the Wild Riders are getting shanked by the spears pretty hard. As far as battle goes, I think it's slightly Lizard favored at this point. There is a fair amount of Saurus. Zyphos really scrapping to his best abilities, though. Using the Wild Riders, just trying to get freebies wherever he can. But man, there's so many missiles and cohorts, and the Laser Dino is still healthy here. These Wild Riders are broken by the Legion of Chaqua, who does get the Shield of the Old Ones to keep them going. This Laser Dino here is able to break these Wild Riders. I mean, and there's so many Saurus left as well, which Way Watchers cannot kill Saurus terribly efficiently, nor can they kill Chameleon Skinks. So it seems like Random Nyx was pretty well prepared here. And the Slon's going down, though. The Slon gets nuked by the Way Watchers. That's really big. No more magic, no more healing, no more witchcraft. Man, clutch play right there. And I looked away for a second. I was looking at something else, and the Toad just gets eviscerated. Zyphos walks into the banishment a little bit. Got to be careful of that, doing some unnecessary damage. But it looks like he's probably focusing elsewhere. So now, I mean, Zyphos' only hope really is to kill maybe the Laser Dino. But what does he have to fight with? Like, it's mainly Way Watchers and Eternal Guard, and there's still so many cohorts and 73 Saurus Warriors over there. Like, I feel like even if the ammunition is used very efficiently here, like, it's not going to be enough to kill the rest of this Lizard army, which is just durable and plentiful. There's Chameleons everywhere, which are basically a hard counter against these Way Watchers. There's some Eternal Guard, I guess, but the Saurus are going to just beat the brakes off these guys. They got their cudgels, and you can see these Lizards charging in, and certainly going to make very quick work of these Eternal Guard. Eternal Guard are pretty good for the cost, but Saurus Warriors certainly can put a beating on them. Way Watchers scooting and shooting, going after the Bastillodon, who's cleverly hiding behind a tree. So this little bush here, this decorative plant, is protecting the Bastillodon from a lot of the firepower. And that looks like it's going to be a victory for Random Nyx. Well played. So guys, Random Nyx is the new leader with a 5-game streak. Very, very good stuff. Current leader is going to be Random. That is a tough one to chop for sure. 5. All right. So let's go ahead here. Current leader. It's going to be Random. And let's update this as well. The Lizards, the old ones, singing today. And now we have... let's see, Protocol. Protocol. You're up. So Protocol Wired, you're up. Perfect. So getting the game all set. Now, if Protocol wins this, Zypho saying, I feared you play something like this. yeah, that build is really good against that, like, Wood Elf Kite style of play. Very well thought out. We'll put him on the Essence of Chaos. The last battle here, potentially. If Random Nyx wins it, it's just basically over, but we'll let him keep playing till he loses to see if he can, like, set a record. Because we have a little bit more time. 5 wins. No, there's actually one more after that. Yeah, we have Protocol Wired. And then we have reserve players, so basically we'll let the winner play till they... Although, I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We'll play it by ear. All right. So Protocol Wired is joining. We're on the Essence of Chaos. We're going to make the players fight in a scrappy, close quarters, knockdown, drag-out fight. As far as the stream goes, you see, the thing is, guys, if I go over 4 hours, though, it chops off bits of the stream afterwards, and it's really annoying. So that's kind of why I avoid that. That's why I avoid it. Unless I have to, and it's like a big, long faction war or something. What can Wood Elves do against such reckless chameleon skinks, says Hadries. Yes. Indeed, indeed. Random Nyx on a run today. Hadries, man, I know. They fill up quick. I can message you next time and try and get you in one. Maybe I'll, like, schedule these two so, like, different players can get in. Although it's been different players for the most part every time. Zyphos, I know, man. The Lord getting popped was... If Zyphos had... if you had been able to keep your dragon, you probably would have been in good shape. No problem. So the next opponent joining up here. He's back. He's coming back. Nope. The coronavirus got him. No, hopefully not. Yeah, don't alt-tab while entering a lobby. That's very true. It will crash your game. Hadries says specifically not Hadries. It is indeed Hadries in chat. Random is slapping the bass today. He's dropping some beats for sure. Yeah, the Tempest does so much damage. Xenos, I do run these more than twice a week. Usually 2 or 3 a week, actually, is what I've been doing. So it's been pretty frequent. Tomorrow we'll do something different. We'll have a stream tomorrow probably, but I don't know what. We'll do something fun and spicy. Yeah, Tempest is so good. It's such a good ability against elves. Yeah, I hate that. You see me all the time. Just shooting a message here real quick, guys. Getting the players ready. All right, so he's on his way back. Let's hang out and chat with you guys for a minute. Thanks, guys, for all your support today. It's been great. Zyphos, don't stress it, man. Don't stress it. What's a good way to learn army tactics? And so, firstly, like Hamstovich, like playing, just playing battles with your friends, or even joining our Discord and chatting to people in there is really, really helpful. But honestly, if you watch a lot of the battles on the channel, you're going to be able to see pretty sound tactics, especially in the more competitive streams. Like if you go through and watch the ECLs, people don't meme as often there, and you're going to learn more competitive tactics there. So I would recommend watching those, looking at how they play, look at how they deploy their formations, look at the builds they bring, and just kind of cater them to your own likings. And then from there, of course, you can just get the reps in yourself. The micro is the next thing you have to conquer, but I would say that's kind of the direction to go. Imagine not winning even one game in today's King of the Hill, says Guac. Hold up. Lifelines are good, but High Magic is a good counter against Wood Elves. I agree. I think so. High Magic's really strong there. So, Hamstovich, join our Discord. So I'll drop a link right now. Hold on. So we have a multiplayer Discord, and we have a section called Looking to Practice, and there's pretty much always people playing there. So you can get games, and obviously you'll get stomped quite a bit in the beginning, but and people aren't always around to play, but just kind of hang out, and when people ask to play, just jump in and get some practice and ask questions in there. People are very willing to answer your questions. Yeah. Zypho says, thought that was a life slun because I'm used to people healing the laser dinos. Yeah, no, it's an easy mistake to make. So, Random Nick says he's going to pick Clan Rictus, Empire, and Dark Elves for random here. So now it's time for Protocol to ban one. Will he ban the Clan Rictus is the question. But it looks like Protocol might want to play Clan Rictus himself. Seems like there's quite a popular thing going on here. So yes. There are more battle reports coming soon for Tabletop. There's just been a bit of a delay because of all the, the virus stuff. There was actually a couple of confirmed cases in the city next door. So a lot of people like in my 40K league are like, I'm just going to kind of hang home with my family now. So it's been tricky to get people to play. But I expect once this kind of all calms down to, I want to have one a week at least. That's my plan. So, yes. Random Nick says, I go with High Magic because reload speed buff is mega good on solar engines, and of course Tempest one-shots Lords, yeah. Hey, Hamstovich, no stress, man. Just come join. Come have some fun. Come join indeed. Yeah, and guys, if I do minimize, like right now I minimize reading chat, it makes it look like the lobby is frozen, so take it with a grain of salt. Yes. Once upon a time, Tempest took out 3 gyros in one cast. Yeah, I can. Is there... Oh, there's tons of European people in the Discord. Honestly, it might even be more in the competitive multiplayer Discord I run. For sure. Only Death Guard players go out, yeah. I'll try and find someone, though, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if Protocol wins, it keeps going. So that's very possible. We do, of course, have people on the reserve list. I always feel really bad. Like, I wish I could just, like, go all day, but, my damn paws are not what they used to be. I remember the days in college of playing World of Warcraft, like, 8 hours straight, and just going in deep, playing, like 50 arena matches in a row, just grinding it out to try and get the Gladiator. Yeah. My Frost Mage... Burning Crusade was my favorite time in World of Warcraft. Those were the glory days. The days of old. Remember, guys, do drop a like on the stream. Helps me out quite a bit. Never like asking for it, but it's my business here. It is my business. Perfect. So welcome to the Discord, all you guys. See a bunch of new people joining here, which is always great. And yeah, play together. Get some practice. It's fun. Low stress. Alex says, cool, I'm new to Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer, but I'll practice if people want to. Yeah, there's a section in the Discord called Looking to Practice. You can ask in general chat too, I don't care, but just to keep it more focused. If you go to Looking to Practice, you can generally see people are looking for games. And just shoot them a direct message. Like, don't be shy. And King of the Hill is open invite. So basically, okay, for this match, guys, they've decided while I was minimized, it's going to be the Vampire Coast for Protocol facing off against Random Nix's Empire on a very small map, so probably won't see too much artillery. So to play in King of the Hills, they're open invite. Anyone can join. Basically, I randomly appear in the shadows of the night, or the mornings usually, and I say, hey guys, first 12 people to sign up are going to be on the main list for King of the Hill. And that's it. And you just are one of the first 12 people to respond. And you get to play. That's that. That is that indeed. It always bums me out though. I wish I could just like have everyone play. Hi, what can you do? What can you do? So the players are loading in. This is the Essence of Chaos. It's a small, ridiculous map. You literally start within like arm's reach of one another, which makes for some fun games. I really like this map actually, because like sometimes if you're like on these very long, grindy maps, it's fun to just have a good old-fashioned slobber knocker every now and then and have this bad boy load up here. So we'll see how this one goes. Yes. We just linked the Discord, Quark, so if you scroll up, you'll be able to see it. I'll also drop a link before the stream is over. So we got Protocol Wired. Protocol's had some really good runs here on our King of the Hills, winning 2 and 3, and I think he almost won one once as well. Maybe he did. So let's take a look here at the forces here of Random Nix, a pretty solid anti-coast army. Huntsmen to kill Morngulls and big monsters. An unbreakable front line to mitigate the terror and other elements there. And it's a flagellant beatstick squad. Volkmar the Grim rolling on his pimp cart. Very, very tough to snipe. He does have pretty good resistances himself. I think his missile resist is just 15 though, yeah. His magic is what's really, really good. Flamecaster, Fireball, and Burning Head. And the Huntsman to kill the big armor. And 2 groups, the Knights of the Blazing Sun. So literally, this is a bit of a theme build. It's like a Crusade build. Basically, he has the Flagellant squad. He's got Knights of the Blazing Sun, which have magic resist and fire damage, which can be useful. And Volkmar and a Firecaster. It's very good for a close quarters fight, that's for sure. For the Vampire Coast here in Protocol Wired, he's got Luther Harkin. He's got a Vampire Caster on foot. Of course, not on the crab. And he's going to be using zombies in the front line. No surprise, a couple handguns, which will be very, very good against some of the bigger targets. However, the Huntsmen are pretty much a counter. The Huntsmen outrange them, and they can really pepper them down. Depth Guard, 2 Morngulls, and 2 dogs. Now, for the sake of the Vampire Coast, they're going to have to get some huge value out of the Scurvy dogs because it's really actually hard to beat that many Huntsmen. Now, some of the schools of thought for Vampire Coast for beating Huntsman builds like this is using double big crab and just trying to out-endure them, which can be very nasty. Oh boy, a bloaty boy. Guys, we got a bloated corpse. It looks like he's like impaled on that tree. I wonder if he's hiding in the tree. I don't think that works like that. Hopefully he hides the bloat like up here, like back. There's nowhere to hide it on this map, really. The Huntsmen are easily going to be looking for that. Random Nix has opted to put his Scurvy dogs in the tree line here. And he does have a single cannon back here, which will be useful. On a map like this, definitely a tough one for Vampire Coast, because you don't have much space to work with. Very easy for the Empire to kind of corral you. But we'll see if he can pull it off. Luther Harkin is a hard carry for sure. I mean, he can outduel Volkmar and snipe the caster. So, I mean, really this game for Protocol is going to come down to Luther Harkin, just going balls deep and causing problems. I'm not sure what this bloaty boy is doing here, though. Yeah, okay, so he's hiding the bloat amongst his zombies, which is a bit of a risky situation, because if the bloat blows up, it will kill your own units. So basically, if the bloat goes, that entire zombie unit will go, and he'll instantly lose like 600 gold just from like one missile attack. So I would definitely recommend not putting the bloat amongst your own troops like that. But again, you know, do what you can. I would probably hide the bloat back here and try and like sneak him up and around or something. There's not too many good places to hide that here. For the Empire, says Random Nix. Summoning the Elector Counts is happening. Volkmar the Grim leading his Grim Crusade here to purge the Vampire Coast from his from these Wood Elf lands. I don't really know. Don't ask questions. It's Warhammer. It all makes sense. So Protocol is going to have to get the Scurvy dogs onto the Huntsman. That's it. The frontline fight, of course, the Flagellants will beat down the zombies, but Morngulls will do well against them with the hunger and all that good stuff. But yeah, the Huntsmen are just such a good counter. Like, this is, yeah. I'm trying to think what you would maybe mix in to make this build slightly more optimized. Maybe just mix in like the silver bullets back there just to get some extra AP against the big crabs. and one like dedicated anti-large unit, maybe like one group of demis, but I don't know. I don't know, maybe not. And cannons are pretty good against him. So the cannons are shooting in, going after Volkmar, it looks like. A couple huntsmen are caught in the collateral fire. But, I mean, yeah, if Luther Harkin can goon out Volkmar, which isn't easy, but if he does, then he can kind of run rampant amongst the other troops. But I'm also a little bit concerned about all the unbreakable troops. I feel like that's a lot to deal with. Oh, the bloat's coming! There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. And, yeah, I think Random is totally memeing this. And that bloat is going to get rammed in the back. Oh, come on! Hey, you know what? That did some okay damage. At least that bloat wasn't useless. It did a little bit of work. There goes my hero. I love it. It's so good. A burning head going to be going down in the back. Protocol does not see it coming. And oh no, the handguns just get roasted. Oh man, 100-0. Oh no, the humanity going into the other handguns. Oh, Protocol, no. No, that burning head. 1,000+ gold, instantly killed there by the Sons of Sigmar. That burning head was so devastating. Protocol must be looking at his backline like, wait, didn't I bring handgunners? Where'd my handgunners go? And they're just all roasted. And then from there, Volkmar is going to be dropping a banishment on the artillery piece. Oh no. And it hits the depth guard. This is so painful. This is so painful. The Vampire Coast is just going to get run over here so hard by the Sons of Sigmar. Sigmar Sons charge in to beat down the zombies. Morgul's, of course, react. But, yeah, that burning head was just so foul. It was like the perfect angle, too. And zombies can't really dodge that fast. So, you know, if you can catch them like that, it can be rough. Now, Vampire Caster is going to be summoning some zombies in the middle to try and hold back the Flagellant Tide. But the Huntsmen are just peppering down these Morgul's. Those guys are just getting eviscerated. Now, the backline is open. You know, some of the doggos on the far side have been intercepted here by Random Nix's Knights of the Blazing Sun. And now you can see these scurvy dogs are coming in as well. It's looking a little bit rough, guys. It's looking a little bit rough. Volkmar the Grim taking some light poke, but Luther Harkin's just up in the sky, like his fractured mind just thinking about what to do here. And clearly, retreat is the best option for Luther. There's no glory to be had here for Luther Harkin. As this Empire army just steamrolls this Vampire Count force. Luther Harkin getting hit with fireballs and Huntsmen. Volkmar the Grim just running over these zombies. Listening to Sabaton, I would imagine. So now going back for the Carronade. There are some depth guard back there to protect it, but man, that was a real rough one. Losing those handgunners, like 1,000 gold, plus the scurvy dogs, pretty much all got intercepted. And the Huntsmen are just completely free to do as they please. Luther Harkin taking some huge volleys. Now the Knights of the Blazing Sun charging into the depth guard. Depth guard are armored, so at least they'll take some time to kill. But with Volkmar the Grim coming back here, you can see he's rolling on his cart here, listening to the Doom soundtrack. I would imagine BFT Division as he shall roll over the depth guard. They're crumbling now. And that's going to be army losses. That is game. Man, that burning head was so gross. And what a great way to end the stream. Just some glorious Sigmarite beatdowns. Oh, man. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Vampire Coast on a small map like this against a Huntsman rush, it's really tough. So perhaps, yeah, maybe wasn't aware of how small the map was. Yeah, the burning head was just a thing of beauty. Oh my goodness, that 179 kills on that Bright Wizard. Oh man. That is brutal. So currently, we got 6 wins. Why did I go to 8? So what we could do is, yeah, that was really clutch. We could ask, I don't want it to go over 4 hours, so we'll have him play people on the reserve list until he loses, just to see how far he can get, because I think that'd be pretty fun. So Loopy, if you're here, you're the first one up. So we're going to keep going. GG. We can, if you want. We'll see. If he wants to go to bed to see how far you can get, or we can call it. Get some rest. Okay, his wrist hurt. I completely understand that, so we're going to call it there. No P, no problem. Random, you are the champion for the day. Some glorious wins. But yes. We are going to call it there because his wrists are hurting and I do not want him to develop any wrist problems. GG. Random Nix is Polish, I believe. Yeah. All right, perfect. Hey, we are gonna call it here. His wrists are bothering him. And that was supposed to be the end anyways. GG all. All right, so Loopy, we'll have to get you in on the next one. Elithanar says, Loopy says, lucky. That's pretty funny. All right, so my friends, that is going to conclude the stream for the day. We're doing it. What's happening? He's pandering? Well, basically how my King of the Hill works is you play, like the last person, like if he's the king after the last game, you're just the winner. But of course, I always welcome players to want to keep going if they want to. Yeah, Eric Rossick, I think, won 8 or 9, but he was also the first player, so he played through the whole stream. But that's a lot of games to play in a row. So guys, let's hear a big round of applause for our champion of the day, Random Nix. An absolute beast, going hard, karate chopping, and getting that juicy, juicy burning head. That burning head was like a thing of legends. It was so damn good. And now, my friends, let us go ahead and give a special thanks to all of our mods for slaying the foul Slaanesh bots and banishing them once more from the pits from whence they came. And also, special thanks to you guys for your donations from Aaron Larmore. We got Chris Jensen, Michael A., Brother DeVoe, Angry Centrifuge, Kautsky, thank you so much. We got Stanislav for the 200 rubles, thank you. Bubba's Big Blast, D. Zhao, Zorro, Garland Green, and Matt Tourman. Thank you guys so much. Random Nix, absolute beast mode today. A very solid game. Yeah, I can only imagine. If I play 4 or 5 games in a row, my hand's going to be like sharp pain. So he's a champ. His Kung Fu was strong. Oh no, I wrote his name wrong. That's pretty funny. All right, guys, thanks for joining. We'll be back with another stream tomorrow. I don't know what. It's like 90% probable that I'll have a stream tomorrow. I don't know what yet, but maybe like a 2v2 tournament or something like that. We will see. So guys, please do drop a like on the way out. It does help me out quite a bit. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do so. It definitely helps. I mean, if you want, obviously. I understand if you don't want to. And that is going to be all she wrote. I'm going to go hang out with my smoking hot wife and enjoy bunkering up in my home. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care.